100.9 The Mitt, WLUN, Pinconning Bay City, Saginaw, Midland. Michigan sports aren't just a game, they're a way of life. And now we've got a show dedicated to die-hard sports fans like you. Hosted by a guy who's borderline obsessed with the wins and losses of all your favorite teams.
He's crazy.
Every weekday morning from 9 to noon, Ben Bosscher brings you the talk that matters. The teams, the stories, and the players you care about most. This is the Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair.
Remember that. Hello, and welcome into the Ben Bosscher Show. Hey, welcome back, Ben. Oh, thanks, everybody. It's great to be back. Look, we got a lot to discuss. Look, we got the Detroit Tigers coming off a split with the Kansas City Royals. We got the Pistons falling further and further and further down the Eastern Conference standings and where we view the teams going into the season. And we've got a Detroit Lions former first-team All-Pro going absolutely ballistic on Twitter last night. Just having a little bit of a Kanye meltdown. There was a little Kanye to what was happening last night with none other than Sir Kerby Joseph. So, really fun show. We got Kevin LeDuc coming on a little bit later to talk about some cool stuff happening in town, like Midland River Days this week, including a Loons home series as well. We got a lot to get to. I'll start here. Kyle, thanks for filling in last week. Here's the thing. Since I've been gone...
No problem, dude.
No problem. Since I've been gone, we've had a lot of different updates on Tarek Skubal, yet nothing has really changed big picture-wise. And as I'm like driving back yesterday, I'm really rattling around some ideas in my head. I'm like, I left and we were talking about Tarek Skubal. I come back and we're talking about Tarek Skubal. Is it really necessary to talk about Tarek Skubal again? And the answer is just yes. I can't think of another story that has happened since we've been doing this show, since the payoff even existed, that has had us basically in handcuffs and chains to what is happening. The only thing that even comes close is the entire season in which Michigan won the national championship, just because there was a new thing that happened every single week, whether it was Jim Harbaugh being suspended or Sharon Moore crying after a game. You know, we had that whole Penn State situation. Like, that was a crazy ride of its own, but this is something else, because it's the same thing every single week, and it's been this way for the entire Tiger season. We have this incredible comeback in the summer. This team has turned themselves into one of the hottest teams, yet we are basically bending the knee to this Tarek Skubal conversation, and we don't really have a choice but to do it. And now that we're in the final stretch, the home stretch, the last week before the trade deadline, it's been getting crazier and crazier and crazier. We've got a Tarek Skubal media session within the last couple days of him basically saying, don't believe anything you hear online. I'm not necessarily leaving Detroit. If that's the case, why have you not signed your contracts yet? We've got some reporters saying that the Tigers are for sure not trading him. We've got others saying the Dodgers will not take no for an answer. Ultimately, we're in the exact same place, though. I've got a couple deadline guarantees, but I'll tell you this before I tell you my 3 guarantees with the Tigers deadline and how this Tarek Skubal situation handles, because there's not a lot of guarantees right now. It feels like the Tigers don't even know what their plan is. They're going to wait this thing out until the 11th hour, which is just kind of what Scott Harris does at the deadline. I think it'd be crazy to not move him. You and I have been in lockstep on that. At this point, there's not really convincing anyone to change their opinion. People have formed their opinions on it. I'll tell you this, though, Kyle. I just want this to be over. I really do. I care what happens, obviously, but at some point, you have to just look in the mirror and be like, I just want this to be over more than anything. Oh, Ben, what do you think's going to happen? What do you want to happen? They have to move Tarek Skubal, right? No, they got to keep him. I don't care. I just want it to be over. I'm so sick of the play-by-play updates in what is happening with Tarek Skubal. Every quote that we get, every Jeff Passan article and every Jeff Passan tweet, every win and loss. Oh, how does this impact the Tarek Skubal sweepstakes? I just want this to be over, and I cannot wait for August 3rd to roll around. Spoiler alert, one of my guarantees is that he's still going to be on the Detroit Tigers come our show at 9 a.m. on August 3rd because, again, Scott Harris just moves very slowly with all of this stuff, and it seems like they're taking that exact same approach. I just can't wait for next Tuesday and this story to just be done because we have been handcuffed to it for far too long. And I'm not like necessarily complaining about this being the lead so many days in a row because it just has to be, and it's been entertaining, and everyone's got an opinion on it, and it's polarizing. But, oh my God, at some point, I just want this entire thing to be over with. And that's where I'm at with the Tarek Skubal.
Yeah.
Debacle.
A lot to unpack there. I even think, you talk about just all the different headlines and stuff that come out. You mentioned it, the 9-minute post-start video of him talking to the media on Friday night where he was like salty. He was kind of going at it with a lot of the different guys in the media just because saying like all the stuff that you guys write and this and that. You can't believe all of it. Even that video has created 13 different, Tarek Skubal said this. Wait, he wants this. He said this about the Tigers. Like
we're aggregating
you're right.
every word he's said for the last year.
We are at the play-by-play update stance, and even last week, that's why I kind of pivoted. And I was like, I want to talk about Casey Mize and Gleyber Torres getting traded because we all know how we feel about Tarek Skubal, but we are at the point now where we're 1 week away. I'll say I certainly can wait till next Tuesday because from now until then, I still have my hopes and dreams that the Tigers are going to work effectively at the trade deadline and things are going to work out because we all know once we get to that point, we're likely going to be disappointed about whatever Scott Harris and the Tigers decide to do at the deadline. So at least I can still have my hopes and dreams right now.
When you say disappointed, you mean because they kept him or you mean because the package wasn't good enough? Or
Both,
you just think
either.
that it's one of those things guaranteed
it's
to be
one
happening?
of those things probably guaranteed, right? They're just probably going to not do this in the right way. Like they're probably not going to grant my wishes as far as their deadline goes, whether that's keeping certain players or keeping Skubal. I still think is not going to happen by any means. Like I would still be shocked by all of that. The 2 games against Kansas City this weekend certainly would emulate that. But yeah, I just think the disappointment odds for Tarek, like on Tuesday after the Tarek Skubal situation, are minus 250, right?
I also think that as much as we see the logical sense in why you have to move Tarek Skubal, to me, it's a non-conversation. Like, yeah, of course you have to move on from him because keeping him doesn't even guarantee you a playoff spot anyway because you just split with the worst team
and then he
in
pitches,
the division.
But then he has that game Friday night, and you're just like, I understand the people's perspective. Are like, man, you want to trade that guy? That was awesome. I don't agree with it, but I get it. I understand the feeling.
My prediction, and we don't really have anything to go based on because every national report and local report is just completely different. It feels like nobody actually has an inside scoop on what's going on with the Detroit Tigers right now. My just gut prediction right now is we're going to get to 6 p.m. on Monday, and he's just still going to be on the Tigers. And we're going to anticipate a trade.
6
p.m. is the deadline.
Yeah, like the deadline will be over, and he'll still be here?
Yeah.
They won't trade him?
That's my gut reaction for what's going to happen right now.
Wow.
And we're going to get to Monday, and it's going to be like, okay, today's the day. It's got to happen, and we're going to wait until noon, and it's not going to happen. And then 1 p.m. is going to roll around, and it still doesn't happen. And we're going to start to feel like, okay, here comes the trade. This is what Scott Harris always does. Waits until 11:59, which is how the Flaherty deal went down a couple of years ago, which is how the Charlie Morton deal went down last year. I think it's going to be 5 o'clock, and we're going to be like, wait, why hasn't this happened? So there's no way that they're not actually moving Skubal. And then 6 o'clock's going to roll around, and Passon's going to hit our timeline with the Tigers have elected not to trade Tarek Skubal. They didn't necessarily love any of the deals. They want to make a push for the playoffs, so they're tied to Tarek Skubal for the rest of the season. And I have a feeling, that's just gut reaction, gut opinion, or prediction based on how this thing's going to play out. I don't think Scott Harris has the balls to move off of him.
That sounds like a nightmare. That sounds terrible because you say, that's how the Jack Flaherty deal went down. That's how the Charlie Morton deal went down. Listen to the names we're talking about. This is Tarek Skubal. This isn't Jack Flaherty. This isn't Charlie Morton. You can't wait till the last second.
If they aren't going to trade him, and again, they're just playing this thing like, we want to see where we're at by the time August 3rd rolls around. It's like, all right, cool. You know what I can actually guarantee? Here's one of my guarantees. You won't be above 500 on August 3rd now. Since you lost the last 2 games, it's impossible for you to be above 500 now. So you can wait and see how this thing plays out. Guess what? You're not an above 500 team at this year's deadline. Most of the time when that's the case, you sell. So,
and you certainly don't buy.
Exactly. You certainly do not buy at the deadline. If you like, best case scenario, they win 6 straight games until August 3rd and they're 500. I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to be below 500 at this year's deadline. So then I think, based on everything that we've learned, they're going to wait. They really want to bring this thing down until the last couple steps to assess the situation they're in because they recognize they're one of the hottest teams. If their goal is to actually keep him, they should announce on Friday, we're going to keep Tarek Skubal. The plans to keep him. That way, teams get a little desperate, and the Dodgers can come in and make a decision. Or would they be
okay, we're not going to trade for him then, because Scott Harris says, we're not trading him. Then I'm not going to plead to whatever he wants for him. We already know that this has been reported that he's a difficult person to work with, nonetheless. And then if he's taking the stance of, we're not trading him, okay, then I won't call.
I just think the worst thing you can do is take the phone call and just be like, yeah, we'll see, and not play ball with anybody. You have to at least start the conversation off and hear what people have to say and make theoretical deals to where no, actually, if we're going to make a deal, we'd want this to happen. I think the worst thing that Scott Harris could do is just kind of continue to tell teams we're not really sure, because then you can't gauge the market.
Well, exactly. They have to leverage deals. They can't do this thing where, okay, this is what we would offer for Tarek Skubal, and then they're oh no, we would not do that, and then hang up the phone. Because then you can't go to another team and say, hey, this is what their true offer is. Because you didn't do any negotiation. All you did was hang up the phone, because that's what happened with the Jack Flaherty situation.
Mm-hmm.
And then they end up being forced to do a deal with the only team that was left because everyone else was pissed and didn't want to work with them anymore.
Correct.
This is a different situation. So you have to be able to leverage the deals. And we're at the point now, a week away, where that stuff should be happening already, but it for sure is happening now. So it's are they still taking the public stance of, we don't know if we're trading Skubal, when internally all this stuff is still going down? I would surely hope so. To your point about Skubal, though, at the beginning, at the lead here, I think that Tarek Skubal has become the all-time content MVP of the Ben Bosscher Show. I think he's the GOAT of content on this show since it started, just over a year ago. 13 months, 14 months of this show. Sharon Moore was there for a long time. Bryce Underwood had a little slight run.
I think Yaxel Lenneberg had a really good case,
he had a really
too.
good, all Michigan guys that we're mentioning here. The Lions, obviously, but I don't know who you specifically would pick from the Lions. That's what makes it tough.
It'd be Dan, I think.
Yeah,
just
but he doesn't put out, Tarek Skubal.
He doesn't put out?
He doesn't give us more and more different things to react to, right? Think about everything that has happened with Tarek Skubal since the launch of the show last year.
Yeah.
The guy won the Cy Young. He went to the World Baseball Classic this offseason and was actually, might be on the team. Who knows? Took the team to court. And then, by the way, while you're gone this past week, and this was when we were off the air, so unfortunately we didn't get to talk about it, he said in that media stint, yeah, I kind of knew that I had an elbow injury in January, but I was going to court with the team, so I didn't really want to do anything about it. What? That's just kind of getting blown over like crazy. And then now he's getting traded, the back-to-back Cy Young, potentially.
Maybe.
I think he is now the all-time MVP content for the Ben Bosscher Show.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. It is funny that, we've had all those people that you just mentioned. And I think Tarek Skubal's just going to be the content, lock it up, he's going to be the content MVP of 2026, whether he's on the Detroit Tigers or not. There's nobody else that's going to.
Who got it last year? Sharon Moore, I think.
I thought it was Yaxel, but maybe it probably was.
No, because
Yak
Yak still happened a little after. It bled into 2026, obviously.
Yeah, it was Sharon Moore, I think.
Yeah, and Yaxel's a good one too. Great content MVP, but it hasn't been this long. Nobody's been doing it for this long. Tarek Skubal.
No,
he's on his
uncanny,
LeBron
really.
type of stuff.
It's funny. The Tigers are taking the same approach with Tarek Skubal in the deadline that Tarek Skubal took with Team USA. It's just I don't know.
Yeah,
I might. We might trade him. We might not.
I kind of want to hang around. I kind of want to be involved, but I don't know if I want to do anything.
I'm not you know
I
what
this
is?
There.
This is the guy who's can you invite him to go golfing and you're hey, you want to go with us we got a tee time at 7:20. You gonna be there? It's I think so. Yeah. I'll probably be there. It's no. We need it in because you're our fourth guy. So if you're not gonna be there, we're gonna ask somebody else. It's I'll probably be there. They're so uncommittal.
I'll see what I got going on.
Yeah,
it sounds like a fun. It sounds like a fun time. I certainly would love to be there, but
I got this thing going on later, so we'll see. And then they just don't end up. What's your gut reaction or gut prediction? Just like, what's your gut feeling about how this thing's going to play out? Because I don't think he's going to get moved. I really don't.
For me?
Yeah.
I think he gets traded. I think this weekend, and it changes on a day-to-day basis for me. After he pitched Friday, I was like, oh, man, this is going to be the reason they don't trade him. I think they trade him still. And I think they do it next weekend. I think it happens.
Do you think he starts another game?
Yeah, he starts Wednesday for the Tigers. It's at home. I think that the Tigers, that crowd in itself is going to be valuable to the front office to it's going to be a packed crowd Wednesday night, no matter what, against Baltimore. So, yeah, I think that he gets traded this weekend. That is my prediction.
I bet you by Wednesday, just kind of watching
Wednesday a
him
day
pitch,
game, though, actually?
That
would be pretty unfortunate. I'm checking.
I think based on the way he's pitching, I think we might be able to learn something about Wednesday. Just his body language and everything, the way he's reacting. If he does a slow walk off the mound when he gets pulled after 80 pitches in the 6th inning, and then does a little wave, that might be kind of telling about how this thing's going to play
went
out.
7 1/3 with them 12 Ks this past week.
Season high.
Pretty long outing for Skubal. Looking pretty good, Dodgers. I don't know. You might need him.
By the way, the predictor markets right now do have the Dodgers as a 39% chance to get Tarik Skubal, which is the favorite.
I want the Brewers to trade for him so bad, and they won't, but I need the Brewers to do it.
Is there a couple prospects that they have that you like?
They have the best non-top 100 prospect of all time in Andrew Fisher. Leads all minor leagues in home runs, yet he's not a top 100 guy. He's the only untouchable non-top 100 prospect. It makes no sense.
Well, if he's untouchable, then sounds like they're not going to trade him.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. If I'm the Brewers, I wouldn't trade him.
If this report that the Dodgers, and no matter what, I do think that we're going to be disappointed in the return if it is the Dodgers.
If it's anyone, we are.
The Dodgers have such a good farm system that I just don't expect to get any of their top 5 guys.
Oh, any of the top 5? Yeah, no, you're not getting any of them.
Because
they have the best 5th overall prospect in baseball history. Zaire Hope fell 2 spots in the Dodgers ranking. That makes no sense.
And that's the thing. It'd be kind of difficult to sell to your fan base we didn't even get one of their top 5 prospects. This is what most people don't understand. The Dodgers' 6th overall prospect is better than most teams' number 1 overall
would be the Tigers' number 2.
Correct.
Easily, and then maybe in the update would be number 1.
Yeah. So there's not really any pressure on the Dodgers can put together the best package for basically anybody in the league without ever putting their top 4 guys on the trade block.
I think top 5 even, truly.
And they still can give you the best package for any sort of player.
Yeah.
Which is why, on the surface, it's probably going to be a disappointing return if they move him. Again, my gut feeling right now is they're not going to move him. So
I don't like your gut.
Neither do I. It's weak. Doesn't like beer for some reason. I like the taste of it. The gut doesn't. 989-837-6125. It's the Ben Bosscher Show live here on 100.9 The Mitt. I'll give you my 3 Tarik Skubal guarantees when we come back. It's the Ben Bosscher Show here on The Mitt. The 9 o'clock hour is brought to you by Iron Stack Technology. We talk about the game plan all the time on this show. The execution of it. That's how Iron Stack approaches IT. They help businesses stay secure, efficient, and ready for what's next so you can focus on your mission instead of your technology. Iron Stack Technology, solution-driven, mission-focused. You can check them out at ironstacktechnology.com. Here's my question for our audience today. Do you even care what happens at this point? Or do you just want this story to be done?
What does that mean? Of course everyone cares what happens. It's extremely important. It has extreme ramifications.
I just want it to be done, to be honest. I want it fast forward to August 3rd. And know what happens and just be done with it. Because this every single day, okay, now what are we going to say? Now what is he going to say? Now what's the update? It's just, I feel it with our audience too. It is old at this point because it's been months upon months of this story holding us hostage.
I want the games to not be done. I'll go there because I'm sick of the reaction after every game. When the Tigers won the first 2 games of this series, it was be buyers. They're going to win the American League. They lose 1 game in the series and ends up being 2, and then everyone's like, sell. Team's not winning anything. Sell, 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 sell. I'm tired of the games being the reactionary part of it.
989-837-6125. Are you tired of the Tarik Skubal story? Show is always brought to you by Bresky Siding and Building Repair. That's the people who protect your home, the experts who do the job right the first time. Leaky roof, storm damage, the siding looking a little tired. Bresky has you covered. Locally owned, trusted, and dedicated to keeping Midland area homes safe and looking sharp. Quality materials, skilled craftsmanship, and service that puts your family first. Don't wait for the next storm. Call Bresky Siding and Building Repair today and keep your home strong for years to come.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and...
You always be coming without no money, girl. Come on.
On 100.9 The Mid.
I do have 3 guarantees for how this Tarek Skubal thing plays out. What I can't guarantee is whether or not he's going to get traded. My gut reaction tells me he is not going to get traded. We've had a couple messages, including one that says, does anyone trust Scott Harris to not screw this thing up? My answer is no. I don't think he's going to get traded. I think this is an absolute screw up. And I must have been doing something right, Kyle and I, because Jimmy came in here and was hot about how this is the worst botch in Major League Baseball history. You didn't even say Major League Baseball history. You just said sports history for someone who hasn't won you anything. So a little improv message here, just an in-person one. So
yeah, I
hello,
just popped over. I popped over. I'm 20 steps away across the hall. So.
And you were hot, so I was like, why don't you just sit down with us here on a Monday?
And here I am. So, yeah, I did say it, and I'll stand by it. I truly do think it's the worst handling of a superstar in any sport who has gotten you absolutely nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Truly nothing. And yes, he won 2 Cy Youngs. That's great.
That's
made
in
the
his
playoffs.
own trophy case.
Correct. And we made
Nice,
the playoffs a couple of times. A lot of teams make the playoffs. They've won no divisions. They've hardly done anything in the playoffs once they've gotten in. Unfortunately, he has done basically nothing for this team.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing he could do at this point, because it could not be clearer, he's not coming back if he finishes the season with the Tigers.
Wait, you can't say that.
He's
you
not
can't
coming
You
back.
can't believe any of those reports, according to Tarek Skubal.
It's a toxic relationship, and he keeps stringing it along. If he wanted to stay, he would. Pure and simple. That's it. If he wanted to stay, he would have signed a contract in the winter. He didn't. That means he's not coming back. So the only thing he can do for this team is get traded and get a high return. And I think, like you said, the Dodgers are 39% to get him? Something like that?
According to the prediction markets. I'm not exactly sure what that even means. But
Now,
yeah.
we might be excited internally because, hey, we do know the prospects.
Mhm.
So we'll know some of the guys. Like, I can't tell you right now who Milwaukee's 6th best prospect is, but
Right.
when we find out who the Dodgers traded, if it does happen,
It's most likely going to be players that we've seen.
almost a guarantee. And most of them we will be excited about.
It's just bizarre that half the fan base, and I'm not going to say that it's the entire fan base, half the fan base I think is totally with you. They just want it to be done.
Yes.
They want him to be gone because you're right. He's done nothing. The Tigers don't have a single division banner or any banner that has anything to do with Tarek Skubal hanging in the rafters of Comerica Park.
Absolutely nothing. And I
Not
said
one.
it. I said it when I was standing right over there off camera. I'm over it. I'm tired of talking about this. I'm sick that you guys have to lead the show with this every day. It's just it's old. It's tired. Do something or get off the pot, I guess.
They
Is
don't
where
get
we're
to
at.
they don't get to hang a "we made it to the Game 5 of the divisional series back-to-back years" banner.
No.
That's not a thing.
I don't think so, no.
Oh.
That-
We lost both starts that you started in the playoffs in elimination games banner.
No, that one
Oh,
doesn't get
okay.
hung up. No, he didn't pitch in
No.
any elimination games that they won, have they?
But hey, man, he
No.
gave us all he had.
Yeah, he did.
That's
a good,
all
yeah.
I've got. Name another
you.
I don't
superstar.
actually
in
think
the
that's true either.
Either way, he did for sure say, "I gave everything I had." Okay, if that's
And he
the case,
wants to be here.
yeah, he says a lot.
He does say a lot.
He doesn't win a lot.
He pitches a lot of
a good
strikeouts,
point.
though.
Sure does.
He's got a lot of personal
Yeah,
accolades.
good for him.
Won
He's
a triple crown.
To be very clear, he's a phenomenal pitcher. That's not what we're talking about.
But this is not the Detroit Tarek Skubals. This is
Correct.
the Detroit Tigers. He is a replaceable asset. And there is no one-for-one replacement with Tarek Skubal. Obviously, you're not just going to waltz your way into another guy who can win back-to-back Cy Youngs.
No way.
But it's not like you lose him and, oh, my God, the Tigers are never going to win another game. It's not like you just lost your starting quarterback. That's not
Right.
what this is. This is a guy who pitches 1 in every 5 days, and the Tigers struggled to win even those games that he is in. So if you can go get a return for him and get more pillars in your lineup every single day that can help you offensively, because guess what? This is still a bottom third team in almost every single offensive category that you can possibly find. If you can go get more pillars of your lineup for Tarek Skubal, that's how you actually get yourself out of this purgatory that the Tigers have been stuck in every single year that Tarek Skubal has been like a Cy Young caliber pitcher for the Detroit Tigers.
But he wants to stay.
Oh, then let's just fold at the knees to him.
He's done so much.
And
I'm
don't
kind of agreeing
think
with
he
Jimmy's point that he hasn't really done all that much.
But
And
Of
listen,
course.
we're crashing out here. Not just us; it's the whole area. Tigers fans in general. We are. We're getting to that point where it's one of the stages of grief. I'm not sure which one it is, but at the end of the day, this guy has had every opportunity to put his name on a piece of paper that means he's staying with the Detroit Tigers.
Mm-hmm.
If he wanted to, he would, and I don't think he does.
And any time that's been brought up this week as well, when the media's talked to him about it, he says, well, I'm focused on this season. Because he says, well, I want to be here. So then one of the reporters this weekend said, okay, like, do you want to be here after this season? Well, I'm focused on this season. Just say I want to be here after this season. It doesn't mean you're signing the contract. Just say it.
Correct.
You clearly don't.
Yes.
I do. Part of me does wonder because it's pretty easy if you're like keep Tarek Skubal and you hear like, oh, why didn't he just sign the contract? It's pretty easy to be like, well, because by all accounts, the Tigers didn't offer him anything realistic that he would have signed. So like that is a fair counterpoint. Part of me wishes the Tigers right now would just be like, hey, I'd have to do the math, but here's like a 6-year contract or 5-year contract. We're not giving you the 10-year deal. Like screw that.
Yeah.
You're a lunatic if you think you're getting that.
Absolutely.
Here's a 5-year deal for a 35, $36 million annual average salary. Like, here you go. Like, you get to be the highest paid pitcher in baseball, but we're not breaking the bank for the next decade for you to do that here. So if you really want to be in Detroit, here's the piece of paper. Sign it or don't.
Wrong.
Yeah, and I really do hope that after this year's deadline, if they were to move him, that the Tigers get to come out and say and de-villainize themselves for this entire situation, say, we offered him X, Y, and Z contract. That was a realistic offer. Like, if the Tigers truly aren't going to trade him, they should have him under contract before this trade deadline even goes around. Like, that would be the only way not moving him made sense, is if he signed the contract within the next week. But he's not going to do that. We all know he's not going to do that.
Yeah.
So move him. If he's unwilling to commit to you and you're unwilling to commit to him, move him now so you don't lose him for nothing this offseason.
The only value he holds is the prospects he could return. I hate to say it like that, but making the playoffs this year, that doesn't mean anything. And that's the spot that the Tigers are in. You nailed it when you said purgatory. That's where they are. They're in baseball purgatory. They're not going to get any better with him. They're not going to get any worse with him. They have a decent chance to maybe sneak into the playoffs. Sure. If they keep him.
And that decent chance is generous.
At best.
Yes.
At best.
And would we even care?
No.
Because the last 2 years, you've lost in the same exact spot, and this team is just not better than those two teams were.
Correct.
I do think they're better. I still don't think
they're not in a better spot to get there.
Correct. Oh, they're in a much worse spot. Their offense still lacks any sort of real, like, look at their lineup. You pull up a lineup card on any given day. In the bottom third of it, the last five guys, it's still atrocious if you compare it to any other team that has playoff aspirations. You got guys hitting below the Mendoza line all over the place
and
again.
Screw the lineup. They've blown the most games in baseball this year.
17 of them.
They've blown 17 games. Like, they could have the best offense, and that bullpen would still be a major issue.
Oh, so we should give up prospects to go buy bullpen guys at this year's deadline, right? Right? That's the plan.
Well, Skubal wants to stay.
Yeah, and he wants them to buy.
Right. He thinks this team has a real chance to lose in the exact same spot they have the last two seasons.
And it's so easy to say, oh, the American League, it's not that good. It's like, there are some teams that are just better than the Tigers, though.
The other thing, too, and maybe this is a bad take, I don't know. I'm not you guys. But winning the American League, to me, yes, it's great. But knowing who's waiting on the other side, is winning the American League all that exciting?
I mean, it'd be cool, obviously.
Sure. I think
100%.
winning the American League it does justify keeping him.
No shot.
No, they have to win. They have to win the World Series if you're not trading Skubal. That's the only way that it makes
100% agreed. Kyle.
Worth it.
Yes. You have to win the whole thing.
But if he does end up on the Dodgers, is it safe to say it's just over? Like, what's the point of you make the playoffs?
It might already be over.
There's a
No,
good
that's
argument to be made that it's already over.
Exactly.
They're inevitable, Thanos style. Like they're that good.
Dr. Doom style.
Right.
989-837-6125. Jimmy, thanks for stopping by. This is the Ben Bosscher Show live here on 100.9 The Mitt. Still have my 3 guarantees to give to our fans about this year's deadline with Tarik Skubal, because there's not a whole lot that I can absolutely guarantee. Like, I have no idea whether or not he's going to be on the team. I do have 3 things that I can essentially guarantee about how this deadline rolls out. Before we get to that, one more Mitt message. Says the reason he wants to stay is so he can pick his team wherever he goes next this offseason. He gets to do that regardless, but I think, I don't know, like, there is somewhat of a, I don't want to leave 2 teams and then have pitch on a 3rd team. Like, that does hurt a guy's ego to be like, yeah, I was here for 3 months and now I'm just gone. Like, I think Tarik Skubal in a way wants to be worshipped. And maybe worship is too strong of a word, but he clearly wants to be liked, and that's why they're villainizing the Tigers rather than him just being like, nah, I'd rather just leave. He wants the fans to like him. So if he were to stay, he gets that, and then he gets to choose wherever he goes for the most amount of money. If he gets traded, he still gets to choose where he wants to go for the most amount of money, but I don't think where he gets traded, the fans necessarily like fall in love with him the same way that he's fallen in love with here.
Think about how CC Sabathia is remembered, man. Dude got traded to Milwaukee for half a year, and does anyone even remember that?
No.
Exactly.
Verlander with the Mets. Like, you don't want to go pitch. I don't think these
I forgot that Verlander pitched for the Mets.
I don't think these superstar pitchers want to go places where they are not, like, essentially, for lack of a better word, worshipped as the guy. And obviously in Detroit, by some of the fan base, he is. So, yeah. 989-837-6125. It's the Ben Bosscher Show live here on 100.9 in the Mid. Dow, they're probably rooted right here in Midland, making an impact all around the world. Innovations that create cleaner solutions for water, safer homes, and more sustainable future. Company built on science but driven by people with thousands of employees who call this community home. Supporting local schools, events, nonprofits, because being a good neighbor matters. From the lab to the Little League fields, Dow is invested in the places we live, work, and play. Dow, solving with science and standing with community here on the Ben Bosscher Show.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding.
989-837-6125. Here's my 3 guarantees when it comes to how this Tarek Skubal situation is going to be handled at the deadline. Again, it's kind of unpredictable how this thing's going to play out. I do think my gut tells me he's not going to be moved, as dumb of a decision as I think that would be. I think it's mostly Scott Harris trying to save face. They could go buy at the deadline and go add a bunch of guys like they did last year. And let's not forget, the guys that the Tigers added last year, for the most part, made this team worse. Charlie Morton, who was the other bozo that they added, the other starter?
Chris Paddock on my wrist.
Yeah, that guy sucked too. All those ridiculous bullpen arms that came in for a couple.
Finnegan was good.
Finnegan was the lone good person, and then everybody else was really sketchy. I think adding in that way is essentially doing nothing. You can try to fix this pen. The offense is still a bottom third offense in the league, and that's one of my guarantees. By the time the deadline rolls around, this is still a bottom half team in terms of runs scored. More than likely going to be a bottom third team rather than bottom half, but I can guarantee that this will not be an above average offense. It will be a below average offense by the time the trade deadline rolls around. You really think you can win the World Series with a below average offense? No. Do you think you can win the American League with a below average offense? No. It's that easy. Trade Tarek Skubal to make your offense better. Yet for some reason, here's another thing that we've left out of everything that happened this weekend. There was multiple reports that said if the Tigers are to move Tarek Skubal, they're looking for an arm back in return as a replacement for Tarek Skubal as the staple of the package in which they would get for the Tarek Skubal. You want
Say that again?
I screwed that up. They want an arm back as their main prize. What? You want an arm who's just not going to be as good as Tarek Skubal when you already have Montero pitching amazing. You already have Melton, been great all year. You already have Job, has pitched in 3 different rehab starts. But your priority is to bring an arm back in return. The offense isn't good. The offense is bad.
It's not like you're only getting an arm, right? Like,
I would just be way more focused on getting as many bats as possible and then having a replacement arm in return.
I understand that, but at the end of the day, you are losing the back-to-back Cy Young. Like, you just don't want to add, like, you're removing that from your pitching rotation and not adding anything else to it. Like, that's not.
But you're still, you're adding in a way that Jackson Job is coming back and you still have Framber Valdez.
No, I get that.
And you still have Reese Olson around too. I'm not saying, you shouldn't get an arm at all in return, but I don't think you should prioritize getting an arm in return.
Okay, that's fair.
When
yes.
you need another pillar in the lineup
I just think
desperately.
I do agree with that. I think getting a MLB near ready or already at the MLB level pitcher that is younger and is controllable, that's the big part, is about getting a guy that has 5 to 6 years under team control. That will be returned in the Tarek Skubal package. Like, that's basically a guarantee.
But it shouldn't be the priority or the main staple of the package that's being built in return for Tarek Skubal. I think that's ridiculous because if that's the goal, to replace Tarek Skubal, that guy's just going to fall short. If the highlight of the trade and the number one guy to sell to a fan base is a pitcher, that pitcher's in a situation where it's impossible for him to win. You're never going to be Tarek Skubal, and that will be the expectation because that's who you're replacing.
I think the ideal Skubal package, and obviously, we could be unrealistic and say it's something crazy. I think it's going to be one of the deals where you don't necessarily know who the headliner is. Like you can't make the decision. There's 2 headliners. Mm-hmm. There is the pitcher, and then there is the number 3 prospect in this team's org that is 2 years away from being here, and we don't necessarily know who the headliner is. That's the ideal return.
My second guarantee. And this is one where it's a little bit more of a leap of faith than it is a statistical anything. Skubal will be on the Tigers Monday morning. I'm willing to guarantee that. I don't think there's any chance that he gets traded before August 3rd. I think by the time we are doing the show 1 week from today, he's still going to be on the Tigers come trade deadline day. If he's moved, I don't think it's until the second half of August 3rd.
Correct. This feels, this has been reported on too, that they're going to wait till the last second. That could just be information they're pushing out to get teams to be more aggressive. Worst case scenario, he gets traded Friday at 1 p.m., right? That would be worst case scenario just for us.
Yeah, because then we don't get to talk about it for a
few
few
days. Till Monday,
days.
yeah. I think Sunday. I think Sunday he gets traded. That's my prediction. I think it'll be a day before the All-Star break. A deal like this that has this amount of magnitude to it cannot wait until the last hour. It's not the Jack Flaherty deal. It's not the Charlie Morton deal.
Yeah,
One of these has to be done much early. Now, it could be done the day. It still could be done Monday at like 10 a.m. That's fair. Like, that wouldn't be a bad thing. But if this gets past 3 p.m. on Monday, yeah, we're going to have a problem. Because then I'm going to enter they're not trading him.
You'd have to get to 3 p.m. to believe that. I think I'm already
That's when
there.
I would get there.
Because
we're a week away. That's kind of crazy.
Sunday's going to roll around, and they're going to be like, yeah, but like we're still trying to see how this thing plays out. Be like, guys, you have one game left. Like, what do you mean? This game determines whether or not you're trading Tarik Skubal? Because if you're not going to move him, like if Sunday rolls around and he's still not moved, and they're still playing the game of like, well, we want to bring this thing down. Like, how long do you realistically get to say we're going to play this thing out until the very end?
Not long,
Brother,
because
we're at the end.
Well, that's what I was going to say, because we have now reached the territory where teams that thought that they might be in the Tarik Skubal sweepstakes if he was available are going to start to pivot.
Yeah.
We're a week away. The second that the Atlanta Braves decide, okay, we're not going to go after Skubal, they trade for a different starting pitcher. They trade for X. And the Philadelphia Phillies trade for X starting pitcher. And the Tampa Bay Rays, who reportedly in thoughts of trading for Skubal, they go get another pitcher. Then you're like, oh, crap. Oh, no. Because, once again, this cannot wait. This has to be one of those deadlines, similar to what we just saw in the NBA with LeBron James signing. The second that Skubal gets traded, that's when everything else happens. It can't be the inverse. Everything else can't happen before Skubal gets traded. It has to be the opposite.
You have to set the market.
Correct.
You can't let everyone else set the market for you regarding Tarik Skubal. And by the way, like a month ago, I was on board with at least the ideology. Like, I could understand, we're just going to let this thing play out. We're going to let the next 3 weeks, 4 weeks play out and see where we're at come the week of August 3rd. I get that sort of ideology. But if you're still taking that approach with 6 games left, you know what that tells me? You're genuinely thinking to yourself, every single one of these individual games determines whether or not we're trading Tarik Skubal. So these individual games...
Which is insane. These games that don't matter.
That is an astronomically stupid way of viewing this entire situation. You're going to let these next 6 games, each of them individually, determine whether or not you're going to trade Tarik Skubal. Like, you should have a plan already that should not be wavering. The next 6 games should have zero impact on whether or not you're trading Tarik Skubal. If you win today, it shouldn't make it less likely that you trade Tarik Skubal. If you lose today, it shouldn't make it more likely that you trade Tarik Skubal. If you are genuinely, as the Tigers front office, being swayed by each of these next 6 games, that is a awful approach to how you're going to handle the Tarik Skubal situation. And in a lot of ways, a cop-out for what you actually, need to be doing as a general manager or president of baseball operations. It's your job to determine what the future looks like and when you have to balance future versus now. If you're letting these results in, I don't want to call them meaningless games because obviously they have an impact, but just like random 6 games before the trade deadline, you're letting that dictate the Tigers' future rather than doing your job. I think that's actually just an insane way to approach this. But by all accounts, that's kind of what they're doing right now.
And they can report it as that. Like, it can be put it out to the media that way, and that's fine. But actually how they truly are operating, if that's the way, the only way that these meaningless games in July for teams that you're playing, one, the Tigers aren't in the playoff race. They're playing 2 teams that also aren't in the playoff race. You have these 6 games. The only way that it could have changed is what the Boston Red Sox just did. Oh, crap, we just won 14 games in a row, and the rest of our season outlook has completely shifted. You don't have that opportunity. You win these 6 games in a row, it's not going to change that.
If they do end up keeping him, and obviously we'd get a Scott Harris press conference within the next 24, 48 hours of that trade deadline, if not within the next, within an hour of the trade deadline happening at 6 p.m., what's the most realistic reasoning for keeping Tarik Skubal? Is it we want to go contend to win a World Series? Is it we didn't like the offers that we got? Is it we like the position?
Hearing that.
We like the position that we're in right now in terms of chasing a playoff spot, or is it just all the above? He'll just throw out every single reason.
The option of we feel confident that Tarik Skubal is going to be here long term too, which that probably won't get said, but it's the first option. That's what they've been pushing. Oh, we think that we can go for it this year.
And then when you don't even make the playoffs, that's
this
a
is what I don't
offense.
get. That's the big part of this that I think no one is talking about. Scott Harris, dude, the opportunity for you to keep your job for extended years is by trading Tarik Skubal. It's not the opposite. The second that he decides to not, and they stand put and they're like, no, we're going for it. And then when they obviously don't make the playoffs because they're below 500, he's fired instantly. That's what I don't get about this. There is an easy cop-out to save your job here by making the obvious move. You trade Skubal, you've extended your title as president of baseball operations for at least 2 more seasons, maybe even further.
So we have to see how these prospects
The second that you take this the biggest risk that any franchise could take by not trading Skubal when you're not even a playoff team, you are just asking to be fired at the end of the year. You're setting yourself up for failure. That's what I don't understand about any of this at all. It should be obvious for Scott Harris.
Yeah, he's gambling his job in the Detroit Tigers'
future
with keeping Tarik Skubal.
All because we've won a couple games in June and July and we think we can win the World Series?
I do think
Have we taken crazy pills?
I think there's a part of this, too, where he doesn't want to be the villain. He doesn't want to vilify himself the way that Tarik Skubal and Scott Boras have tried to villainize the Tigers. And I think trading him to a lot of people would put him in a position to where he is the villain in this situation. I don't think that. You don't think that.
No, it would make Skubal the villain. Here, the best case scenario for Tigers fans is they trade Skubal and this team still continues what they did all of June and the start of July.
In the worst case
continue
scenario
to win.
Is you keep him and miss the playoffs.
Yes.
Therefore, Scott Harris is fired and every single person saying, oh, I want to see this team win. We need to take Tarik Skubal. All those people can eat sand. Seriously. I can't believe
Eating
that
sand would not be fun.
I can't believe that that's an argument from some people. Well, we got to make the playoffs, right? Then keep Skubal. It's even if he's here, we're probably not making the playoffs, guys.
And what is making the playoffs do for a team that in year 3 of this 3-year window, we're calling it because it's the Tarik Skubal window. It just is. Year 3 was the time for you to win the World Series. And at the trade deadline, it doesn't matter how you've been playing lately. It doesn't change your record. It doesn't change the standings. You're below 500, 6 games below 500. And there are 5 teams above you in the wild card race. And you're behind the damn Chicago White Sox in the division.
And you just split with the worst team in the division.
Just because you've had a good month in June. This is the take I don't understand. It doesn't change the record of the baseball team. It doesn't change the situation you're in. You're not a playoff team. And Scott Harris has this perfect opportunity in front of you to spin it. Hey, look, if we trade Tarik Skubal and we keep winning games, everyone's going to call Scott Harris a genius. You traded away the back-to-back Cy Young and your team is still playing good and you got return for him. He's going to be beloved. The mindset on him is going to be completely shifted. And yet they might trade all of that for, we might make the playoffs with him?
Because he's scared. He doesn't want to, because I think if he trades him, in a lot of ways, he's viewed as soft. He's the villain. He's the guy who forever sent Scott Harris away.
I don't think people think that way.
I think there's a lot of people who think that way. And I think Scott Harris, maybe Scott Harris and Tarik Skubal have a little bit more in common than we realize in terms of they want to be liked. It really, you see the Jacoby Brissett interview yesterday?
No, I saw he got paid, though.
He got paid, and people were asking him about it. What do you have to say about the people that said you had a 1-11 record and you were holding out as a quarterback? And he was like, I literally couldn't care less about what those people think. I got my contract done. And he basically told Arizona fans and anyone questioning why he's sitting out to go F themselves.
Yeah.
Tarik Skubal and Scott Harris, I think both would never in a million years think they want to be loved.
Yeah.
I think they have
Skubal
that
wants
in
to be
common.
paid. I think that's his number one priority.
He wants to be paid, but why did he go on that media circus tour in the offseason? Because he wants Detroiters
leverage.
To love him.
Yeah, well, when he wants to put the pressure on the front office. It's all leverage, and that's all that Tarik Skubal and his agency are about. And the last thing I'll say is, to your point, and mainly what Jimmy said earlier, certainly over 50% of Tigers fans are ready for Skubal to be gone. And so the whole perspective of Scott Harris being the villain, I just don't see it. I think most Tigers fans are ready for him to be gone, and they're cool with it.
Maybe he just views it as the villain because of all the stuff that Scott Boras and Tarik Skubal, the way they've positioned this thing. It feels like he's being bullied, and he doesn't want to be bullied, So he's like, oh, well, we'll just keep him around because he's saying he wants to be here.
I don't have to trade him just because everyone else says I have to. I have to?
It's going to cost him his job. When he keeps Tarik Skubal and misses the playoffs, Scott Harris will no longer be the president here. 989-837-6125. This is the Ben Bosscher Show live here on 100.9 The Mitt. 10 o'clock hour coming up here on The Mitt.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9.
Lazy Electric Studios. This is Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt. WLUN, Pinconning Bay City, Saginaw, Midland.
Let's put a pin in the Tarek Skubal debacle that never seems to end and shift towards a Detroit Lions player who had a little bit of a media meltdown yesterday. It's Kerby Joseph. I figured we could just read a couple of these out loud to our audience.
So you
Kyle.
can't read all of them because that would take up the rest of the show.
What did we count up the number? It was definitely over 50.
I think it was 55 is what I counted.
55 tweets just yesterday.
And that doesn't even count replies. That's just tweets.
And there was a lot of replies as well. A lot of retweets, calling out people in the media. Look, here's how this all went down. A couple days ago, Kerby Joseph basically put out, how much you guys want to bet I'm not on the PUP list to start the season. The PUP list, physically unable to perform. If you start the year, like if you get to week 1 and you're on the PUP list, you're missing minimum 4 weeks. We expect Brian Branch to be a part of that group. But you can be put on the PUP list right now. It opens up more 90-man roster spots, and you can be taken off it literally at any time. But he put out a tweet that was like, how much you guys want to bet I'm not going to be on the PUP list? And I had a couple people send this to me like, oh, look at this. And I told every single one of these people, I don't believe anything this guy says. I don't believe a single word that Kerby Joseph says on Twitter. I don't care. I will believe it when he is actually playing football. And sure enough, the Lions put out yesterday that Kerby Joseph, Brian Branch, and Tyler Conklin will all start training camp on Wednesday on the PUP list. Again, he can be taken off at any time, but why go out and say that you are not going to be on the PUP list just to be added onto the PUP list? It's going to rub people the wrong way. Well, it did rub people the wrong way, and then he fired off about 54 different tweets of going at people, media people, fans, saying this, saying that.
Told him that they should have made the bet. Like, that's a kind of a crazy thing to say.
We'll get into a couple tweets here in a second. I think overall, though, just based on a lot of this stuff and my ongoing theory that me and Kerby Joseph have the exact same knee injury, I think that Kerby Joseph is healthy in terms of he does not have any pain in his knee. And he goes about everyday life, and it's not a problem right now. It's not like he's on crutches. It's not like he's like trying to get his strength back. I think his knee is fine right now. But reading between the lines and reading everything that Dan Campbell has said and listening to his press conferences, I don't think he's practiced or done any football activities for a really long time. A really long time. Because they understand as soon as they ramp him back up, his knee is going to get worse. This is a chronic problem. It's not a bone break that's fixable. It's not an ACL in which you can, repair it and rehab. This is cartilage rubbing on cartilage. This is wear and tear on the knee that doesn't necessarily get better. And the reason I think that we have the same or a very similar injury is because when I was in middle school, I had knee problems and I went to the doctor and they found out that one of my femurs in my leg is like 1/8 of an inch longer than the other one, and it causes me to walk funny, which just wear and tears the knee over time. You have the same problem, don't you? You just wear one
of my legs is longer than the other one. Yeah.
Right, and in order to fix that, you put
I have a lift in my shoe.
Correct. I never did that, so it screwed my knee up. And I remember the physical therapist looking directly at me and saying, yeah, you're going to have knee problems your entire life. I was like, what? I'm in middle school. Why am I going to have knee problems? And I'll never forget that. And sure enough, like my left knee is just sore most of the time because I've walked on it funny my entire life. It's never going to get better. I think Kerby Joseph, based on everything that we've read, it's a very similar problem to where it's never going to get fully better, so all we can do is manage it. So they're doing everything they can this offseason to make sure that once we ramp him up, it's going to be like he can at least play on his knee. He can at least play on it and be somewhat of the same player. Honestly, based on everything that happened yesterday, like if I had to make a guess, I think he's going to be healthy week 1. Or at least healthy enough to play. I just don't know if he's going to survive 18 weeks. And I don't know if he's ever going to be first-team All-Pro Kerby Joseph again.
I think and that second reason correlates to the first. I'm with you in the fact that I don't know if he will ever be able to play a full season at full strength. And I think when he's out there, we are going to see the real Kerby Joseph. Like, I think that will be the case. But it's just...
But then it's going to get worse.
And week 7 rolls around. It's like, he's questionable this week at practice. He hasn't practiced all week. Is he going to play? And then it's, 2 weeks off.
I think he's a questionable every game.
Yeah, well, then if he misses, obviously, if he misses enough games, he won't even be in consideration for a first-team All-Pro. So
I think it'll be like Decker, where it's like, yeah, he just doesn't practice Mondays or Tuesdays or Wednesdays.
See, that's tough, though. I mean, this guy is young in his career. Like, the Decker and Ragnow situation like that was just these guys are old vets, and it doesn't make sense for them to practice on Wednesdays,
I think we're there with Kerby Joseph.
Already,
man. The reason I think he crashed out so hard, and like, again, this is reading between the lines a little bit, but also it totally makes sense. I think the reason he crashed out so hard is because he feels fully ready and ready to practice again, yet the Lions are the team and the organization is stepping in and being like, no, you're not allowed to practice right now. And I think there is some, I don't know if I'd call it disconnect, but maybe lack of trust that, these guys just want to play. That's what they want to do at the end of the day. And Kerby Joseph's been pretty public about, like, my knee's messed up, and that's up to God at this point whether or not it's going to survive throughout the season. Like, the doctors don't know what to do.
Yeah, that's kind of a tough thing to say.
100%. So you hear that, and it's like, okay, clearly the Lions aren't letting him practice. He thinks he's healthy and isn't going to be on the PUP list. The Lions think otherwise because they don't want to, have him go balls to the walls all of training camp to the point where he's not healthy week 1. I think they're going to ramp him up right at the very end so he can be healthy.
I agree
that
I think he'll be healthy week 1.
I just don't think, there's a real first-team All-Pro future for him anymore. And he's making $86 million.
We've seen the peak Kerby Joseph. it's came and went is kind of what you're saying here.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think there's maybe a chance he's losing faith on how the Lions are handling it.
I don't think so. I mean, this is just a smart move to make transactionally for the Lions.
I am totally with you in that.
For the fact that, okay, now if he ends up on the PUP list to begin the season, where it's the automatic 4 games you have to miss if you're on it to start the year.
Well, then it's just over.
Then obviously, yeah, then we're at the point like, oh, okay, then he's just like, this
He'll never play
This
again.
is bad. I mean, he will play again. It's not like he'll never play again.
If
but
he's on the PUP list to start the year, I
you
don't
think he'll never play another snap in the NFL if he's on the PUP list to start the year.
How could it be? Kinda. Why would it ever get better if he can't even survive training camp? Why would I expect him to ever be healthy enough to play football again? Because right now it feels like he is, quote unquote, healthy in the fact that he has no pain in his knee, but he hasn't done football activities for a long time. So if he can't be out there for training camp without pain returning to his knee,
yeah,
and he has to miss the first 4 weeks. What was the point of this offseason then? Because it's not like he had surgery and it's like, oh no, he's going to be out for this amount of time rehabbing to strengthen the knee. It was literally just pain management this entire offseason. So if this entire offseason and all of last year wasn't working in order to get him to return, and the first time he gets back on the field for training camp, he's out again, yeah, I have now no faith he plays football again.
I do think that as far as the move of them putting him on the PUP list, that itself is not like too worrisome just because like we said, it is just a smart thing for them to do right now. The more worrisome part is the Twitter reaction to it.
Right.
That is what is much more worrisome than just the fact that they put him on the physically unable to perform list.
Yeah, he did the same thing the day they lost to the Commanders.
Yeah. Which he's got a new account now, by the way. Like, that's why I was like, is this? I didn't really believe it was him at first, and it seems like it is.
It's for sure him.
3,000 followers? Like, get your followers up, Kerby. Jeez.
But a new account that's only existed for a couple of months.
He's got no clout.
He had an absolute meltdown the day they lost to the Commanders in the NFC conference round.
We did the same thing, right? Didn't we count up every tweet that he did? He had like 100 tweets.
Yeah, because once a year, this guy loses his mind on Twitter. 54 tweets in the span of like an hour or two, just replying to everything. I'll start reading a couple of them.
Can I say one thing first before you say them?
Sure.
I've always had this take. If you're someone that has done this like crazy social media outburst, we see it from athletes a lot.
It's Kanye-esque.
If you don't have a person in your circle that can go to you and be like, "Hey man, cool it on Twitter." Like you probably can like just put the phone down, man. Like everything's all good. You don't got to do all this. If you don't have someone that can go to you and say that, that is like one of the bigger red flags that there is. Not saying that he doesn't have like friends, but like someone has to be able to be comfortable enough to go to you and say, "Hey, dude, you probably shouldn't be doing all this."
Remember, Jaden Ivey's wife tried to do that. He shut it down and turned it down.
And another example right there, a red flag. He did turn it down. That's true.
And by the way,
I turned it down.
The account is called Zoop31.
Yeah, Zoop.
Yes, sir. I sit back and observe the whole room. I see what y'all thinking. Then he said, "I never said I wasn't going to be on it," referring to the PUP list. Yeah, you like 1,000% did say that you were never going to be on it, by the way. A lot of memes, a lot of pictures, a lot of calling out media.
You should have gotten in on this, Ben. He might have called you out.
I'm good. I have no desire to be called out by Kerby Joseph.
Will Cheddar was good enough for you?
Yeah, getting called out by Will Cheddar was good enough for me. He said, and you're wasting it. Well, he said, and you wasting yo time over here speaking on me like, bruh, we both doing this stuff. That don't make sense, but I'm getting paid. You not, so go ahead and wash yo, you know what, and stay out of my business.
With some Z's.
Yeah. There was,
someone in our YouTube chat just said Kerby, Antonio Brown, Joseph. Didn't he tweet something about AB and all this mix too?
Yeah, he said, someone called him out and said, "You're acting like Antonio Brown." He said, "Ain't nothing wrong with Antonio Brown, bro. He's just not acting like all y'all," or something like that. It was very close to that.
Yeah, that's one he didn't have to put out.
He didn't have to put out any of these. It's very Kanye-esque. Someone said, as many expected, Kerby starts, this is just like a random tweet. Kerby starts the season on the PUP list. What does that mean? And Kerby retweeted it and said, "Do I still get paid?" Oh, he doesn't care. He got his money and now he's just
Well, I think he's kind of flexing on that guy. Like, I'm still getting paid while you're tweeting about me kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which it seems like that's what a lot of these tweets are. It's just clapping back at people that he really doesn't have to. You know, you're a professional athlete, man. These guys are tweeting about you on social media. Just let it be.
Someone posted a picture of him going at players' knees because remember, for a long time, everybody else in the NFC thought he was a dirty player. Still probably do. And then he said, "What's your point? We all got bad knees in this league, bruh. You on my you-know-what, but everybody do, so it's okay. You know what? Help me decode this one. YKYCS. YK, you know.
You know you. CS? I don't even know.
And then he said, I want you to hate this. You know what?
You know.
The big one
probably
was
something inappropriate, honestly.
The big one was, like, this was the most words he put in a tweet. I can't tell y'all everything, LOL, but update for real. My faith is unbreakable. I can walk now. I'm not in hella pain no more, so I'm not dropping on the floor like the Kansas game. If y'all want to know if I can play this season, just ask God. Send some prayers also. So it sounds like to me, just based on that.
And that was like his most normal tweet out of all of them, essentially.
Correct. It sounds like he has no idea if he's going to be able to play this season.
The Kansas game.
He sucked in the Kansas game. It was the worst game he's ever played in his career.
Kansas game. Why can't you just say Kansas City?
Maybe he was running out of characters in his tweet.
That's true.
He doesn't pay for the premium where you get unlimited. Somebody
I'm
start flexing on him like that.
I'm going to start calling them the Kansas Chiefs from now on. That is the new bit.
This is my favorite
Kansas
one, though.
Game.
Someone called him out for not having coherent sentences and not spelling things correctly. And he said, coherent sentences just ain't me. This my lingo, brah. You and like it because you chat GPT translator. Stop being lazy.
Hey, I agree with him on that.
What?
Stop being lazy and using AI, people. Come on. Be creative.
Yeah, then he said he would stuff some media people in a locker if he could, but he doesn't support bullying. I'm glad we uncovered that one. Kerby Joseph doesn't support bullying. Thank God.
But if he did, he would stuff you in a locker.
Yeah.
That would be his form of bullying if he did.
I think he's going to play week 1. I think his knee will be gone by week 18. And then it'll be basically the end of Kerby Joseph. I have very, very little faith that he can continue to be an all-pro safety. And that's a huge game changer for the Lions defense because, again, the Lions are 18-0 when he gets an interception. They do not lose games when he gets a pick.
He is the ultimate X factor on a week-to-week basis.
Correct. He may not have the biggest impact play. Like, there's 3 guys on the defense that have a bigger impact on a play-to-play basis. Aiden Hutchinson, Jack Campbell, Brian Branch. The do-it-all safety who can basically be an extension of your linebacker room, great in coverage, great against the run, the first-team All-Pro linebacker who's the best run-stopping linebacker in the NFL, and a guy who gets to pressure basically every single play in Aiden Hutchinson. Between those 3 guys, they make a bigger impact on a down-to-down, play-to-play basis.
And they're just better players, too, like, obviously.
Kerby Joseph flips games. When Kerby Joseph makes a play, it changes the outcome of games.
And think of this as something I always like to talk about. How many Kerby Joseph moments can you think about? So many. And
more than Hutchinson moments.
Exactly. More than any of those guys. There's a good amount of Brian Branch moments, too. But, like, how many moments can you think of Kerby Joseph? More than I can count on my hands. Like, that stuff matters. And so not having that is obviously extremely unfortunate.
Yeah. So what is this defense actually going to look like? Give you our thoughts when we come back. It's the 10 a.m. hour here on the Ben Bosscher Show. 10 a.m. hour is brought to you by Aired Insurance. They're all about putting you in a better insurance position, whether it's your home, auto, life, or business coverage. They make sure your protection actually fits your life. If you're looking for a team that takes the guesswork out of insurance, this is it. Be sure to go follow Aired Insurance Group on social media to stay connected every single day. You know, we talk about having the home field advantage on this show all the time. Well, if your home or your business uses propane, the company with the advantage is Forward Energy. Since 1925, they've been serving our local community with propane and fuel solutions for homes, businesses, local people, reliable service. That's Forward Energy, part of the home team.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mix. Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
So what do we actually think this defense is going to look like? Because again, in the first segment in that 10 o'clock hour, I do think Kerby Joseph's going to play at the beginning of the season, even though he got put on the PUP list. Like, I don't think it's ever a good sign that he's on the PUP list. It obviously would have been better if he was without it. But I think Kerby Joseph's explosion on Twitter, obviously red flags in some ways, but his determination and like confidence that he should have not been on it, should have been off the PUP list, and his determination that like, yeah, this is basically up to God at this point, does tell me like, okay, he's going to be able to play at some point. It's just a matter of how long can he hold up on his knee and the pain that comes with it. Because he was terrible in that Kansas City game. God awful. He missed like 5 tackles, which Kerby Joseph's an excellent tackler. So the fact that he missed 5 tackles clearly tells you he was not doing very well in that game. Then it was trying to get him back. Nothing was actually wrong with his knee in terms of like, oh, this is broken or there's a torn this. It was just pain management. So my guess is they're going to wait until the final couple weeks of training camp, get him really ramped up. At that point, it's almost been a year since he's played football, but the pain management is going to, like, they're going to be smart about this to not have him out there in order to risk his knee getting hurt. But as soon as he gets back out there, it's just only going to get worse, which makes me think they're going to be smart enough to have him out there week 1. I don't know if he's going to be out there week 18. So what is this defense going to look like? Well, we know Brian Branch is not going to be out there. It's my prediction that Kerby Joseph will be out there. I don't know if it's going to be first-team All-Pro Kerby Joseph, Like, he can still have the instincts that old Kerby Joseph had. Is his body going to allow him to be able to react to those instincts? Is way up in the air. So, again, I think this is going to be a very up-in-the-air secondary on what this looks like early on in the year without Brian Branch. You lose a run supporter as well. I think in terms of the linebackers, losing Alex Anzalone, you lose your best coverage linebacker. Jack Campbell was 13th in coverage grade amongst linebackers last year. That's not necessarily something he excels in for as amazing of a player as he is. You're asking Derek Barnes off of a really poor season to now be an every down player. You're asking Malcolm Rodriguez to be a guy who's out on the field way more often than he was last season. I do think there was a strength in terms of pass rushing this year. It's probably the best supporting group that Aiden Hutchinson's ever had, with Ali McNeil bouncing back. Tyleek Williams, year 2. You don't really have a nose tackle on the team, which could cause some concerns against the run. But in terms of getting after the quarterback, now that you've got Woonham and Derek Moore in the mix, I do think Hutchinson will have yet another career season building off a career year last year. But I am kind of worried about what this secondary looks like and the cornerback room looks like, because right now there's just not a whole lot of answers in terms of who is starting in the secondary as of week 1. And let's also not forget Calvin Shepard, a little bit under a microscope going into this year, rightfully so, because still somewhat of an unproven coordinator, really lacks the ability to adjust last season, I thought. And the injuries, once both safeties were out, I don't really think it was his fault in how everything played out, but still a lack of adjustments overall. Total credit for the Legion of Whom game, but that was kind of the exception. I think the pass rush is going to be pretty strong, but I don't know, man. I think when you look back at this defense last year, it wasn't great. I don't think it's going to be a strength of the team this year. I think they're going to score 30 points a game. I don't think this defense is going to be horrific. When everyone's healthy, I think this is a strong unit. But to open up the year, I think it's a little bit more of a weakness than a strength right now. That's kind of where I stand on the Lions defense heading into the year, even though they have a couple blue chip players that will be healthy to start the year, as long as training camp doesn't take anybody out.
I don't think it's a hot take to say the offense is going to be the better unit than the defense. I think most people with the brains would probably feel that way. But it's just as far as can the defense be, how much improved can it be from last year? Because that was probably the main reason the Lions season fell apart at the end of the year, was their defense fell apart at the end of the season, which that's what Ryan is saying in our YouTube chat. If Branch and Joseph aren't 100% by the playoffs, this team has no shot to actually win the Super Bowl. How unlucky can this team get that the all-pro safety you re-sign gets degenerative knee problems?
What is the best case scenario with Kerby Joseph? Because I don't think it's on the table that he's just back to being Kerby Joseph and his knee's fine for the rest of his career. Genuinely, I think the best case scenario is we get one more good year of Kerby Joseph. But I think it'd be pretty far-fetched.
That's best case scenario?
Am I wrong to think that?
No, but it's just, it hurts
sad
to hear. Yeah.
Luckily, they have another all-pro safety, but guess what? Brian Branch is out for, I think it's safe to assume, the first 4 weeks of this season. We'll see what ends up happening.
Guess what?
It's totally up in the air, but he's a very important player to not have.
Joseph is the one that's paid, and Branch is not. That's the issue here.
Mm-hmm.
You think the Lions want to pay Brian Branch a big-time contract after what happened with the Kerby Joseph one? If he doesn't play, not saying that it's a similar injury, but it's still a guy coming off of a serious injury that you have to pay right now, and clearly is at the bottom of the pecking order for guys to be paid, because they paid Jack Campbell. They are seemingly going to pay Jahmyr Gibbs at some point, whatever this, how this goes down leading up to training camp. And then it comes down to Laporta and Branch.
Who do you think is going to contribute more to the defense and to the team overall this season? Brian Branch or Kerby Joseph?
Brian Branch.
There's a good chance Brian Branch is not.
Yeah, who will miss at least the first 4 games, could miss the first half of the season.
Yeah, okay, so let's say Brian Branch doesn't come out until week 9. He misses half the season. You still think Brian Branch contributes more to the team this year than
That's a really
Kerby
good
Joseph?
one, man. That's a really good one.
I think the answer
it's
might be
essentially
yes.
just trying to predict how many games Kirby's going to play in. And even if he does play in games, like, is he going to be effective? Which I don't think he would suit up if he's not at least going to be seemingly effective in a positive way for the Lions.
But you could say the same thing about Brian Branch. Like, you're not going to not have Brian Branch out there once you rip the Band-Aid off and he comes back. You're never going to not have him out there again.
Yeah, but
are we sure he's going to be the same player coming back from an Achilles injury for the first few weeks?
His doesn't seem like it's going to be something lingering. You know, like once they declare he is back and ready to go, then he's back.
But is he going to be Brian Branch? Because Ali McNeil, like, different injuries, Achilles versus ACL. But Ali McNeil was not the same guy when he came back. I would say he came back a little bit too early. And safety more than any other position other than maybe corner. But the way that Brian Branch plays it, like, man, you got to be so quick on your feet, constantly turning around, pivoting, changing directions. Like, is he going to have the same step? I have no idea.
I'll say this. I feel more confident that Brian Branch is going to be Brian Branch than I do Kerby Joseph is going to be Kerby Joseph. I think we can agree on that at least, right?
Yeah. And in terms of who contributes more, I still think I would lean towards Brian Branch. I just have such a negative outlook on how this Kerby Joseph thing's going to play out, and that's me thinking he's going to be available for week 1.
EBG says it's going to need a full-on AB-esque crash out that voids his contract after getting whatever value they can out of him after this season.
AB-esque, as in Antonio Brown-esque.
Correct. Yeah, I don't think they're getting out of that.
No. Unfortunately, they are not getting out of that contract.
And on top of it, hey, we're acting, the expectation for the Lions defense. Let's not forget, the first-round pick from 2 years ago is just not on the team anymore at corner. We haven't mentioned that yet.
It is nice,
what an
though,
offseason for the Lions secondary, huh?
Yeah, for the 100th year in a row. It is nice, though, that I can confidently say, and it seems like this is starting to get some smoke, too, to where it almost like concerns me how many people think this. I do kind of think this will be the number 1, number 2, number 3 offense in the NFL this year. I do.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's fair. It's just how bad is the defense going to be? I don't even think I don't even think we're at the point of asking how good is the defense going to be anymore. I think it's how bad are they going to be?
Luckily, you still have Aiden Hutchinson, who I really do think is like going to have a defensive player of the year type of season. I'm not saying he's going to win it, but he just came off a career season and now has the most help he's ever had in terms of pass rushing ability only. So should be some help there. You still have a first-team All-Pro linebacker in Jack Campbell. I don't think it's going to be horrific. It just might not be a strength of the team. But if they're scoring 30-plus points a game, it probably won't matter all that much, which is kind of what I think the Lions are going to be doing this year. 989-837-6125. It's the Ben Bosscher Show live here on the Mitt. Your dream lawn, Stravinsky sod can quite literally roll that out. Top quality sod that turns patchy yards into backyard showstoppers. Plus, they've been doing it for 50 years, which means they're experts. Whether you're fixing a rough spot or redoing your whole yard, Stravinsky delivers lush, green perfection. Fast, friendly, and farm fresh because your grass should be greener right now. Don't settle for a bland yard. Increase the value of your home and get the lawn your neighbors will envy with Stravinsky sod. You're going to have Kevin LeDuc on coming up next to talk about something really exciting happening in town. Plus, before he came on, or as he was getting ready to come on yesterday, he sends us an email. He's like, I want to talk about all of these things as well. Ton of pop culture, ton of sports. We're going to go through a rapid-fire series of stuff with LeDuc, our guy, when we come back here on the Ben Bosscher Show. Ant activity across Michigan is at an all-time high during the summer months. And once ants find food or moisture around your home, they can quickly establish trails that lead indoors. Whether you're dealing with pavement ants, carpenter ants, or any other kind of species, early treatment helps stop colonies before they become a bigger problem. At 4 Seasons Exterminating, they provide professional ant control along with lawn care, mosquito treatment, termite services, bedbug treatment, wildlife control, and more. Call 4 Seasons Exterminating today or visit our website to schedule your service.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and
Our main guy, Kevin LeDuc, is here representing the Midland Area Community Foundation. Got to talk a little River Days with the Loons in town as well. That's coming up. But you did say in a little rundown, usually I'm the one that creates the rundown for the show, but you sent me a rundown. You're like, hey, we want to go over a couple River Days things, but also happy to talk about Pistons offseason, LeBron's arrival to Philly, the Tigers, soccer in the United States, House of the Dragon, the Odyssey, or whatever else you want to throw my way. You basically just threw out everything that's going on right now in the world. So you said before we went on, you're down to hang out as long as possible. I feel like we need to tackle all those things.
I'm totally down for that. I know when you have people come on to talk about community stuff and it's been a big sports weekend, you still want to touch on sports. So I don't want to hijack all your time with just River Days, but it is exciting that it's coming up this weekend, but I figured I'd throw a few more things out there for you.
How about this?
You can go 3 hours on all this stuff, Kevin. This
I know.
is crazy.
I know.
I think we can go 2 segments here.
Okay.
I want to do all of this stuff and then get into some of the River Days stuff because I got
Fantastic.
excited to talk to you about every single one of these things.
Well, just to tease you on River Days, I always bring gifts for you guys. So I do have T-shirts for you guys.
This guy.
All 4 of you guys in the office right now, you'll get a River Days shirt.
Really?
So you can rock it out,
Oh,
wear it at the
let's go.
gym, hang
Same
out.
one that you got on right now?
Yeah, it's awesome. Everyone loves this tie-dye shirt, so figured I'd bring them for you guys as well.
Never come empty-handed.
Never.
We've
never,
had
never.
the Angel Reese, Jalen Duren, How to Lose Money movie. We've
Aged
got
really well, too.
your high school senior pictures of you in a Pistons jersey.
All my Rip Hamilton jerseys.
What was the other thing, too?
I brought you the 2003-2004 DVD that's right over there to the left as well.
Never comes empty-handed. Now the
also,
shirts.
that Detroit City Football Club scarf that I do not see hanging.
That
so
was hanging.
we got to
up
get it a
there,
spot.
and
We got to
John
get it a
took it
spot.
into his
John,
office.
I think John threw it away or something.
Actually?
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh no, there it is. It's right there.
Well, redemption for that scarf after the World Cup, so we gotta get it up here somewhere.
All right. The first thing you said was Pistons offseason. We
Yeah.
haven't had a chance to talk about this yet on today's show, but over the weekend or late last week, LeBron obviously signs with Philadelphia, and that is yet another team that is without a doubt, certainly has passed the Pistons in terms of the preseason rankings and where teams stack up against each other in the Eastern Conference. It's hard to even argue the Pistons are a top 5 team in the East right now. Is that an overreaction or is that basically spot on?
It's not an overreaction, and I think it's because of something you've talked about on the show a lot, which is the secret of basketball.
Yeah.
We saw the Knicks exercise that perfectly in the NBA Finals. They care about each other. They love each other. They're playing for one another. So the moves that we made on talent, I think the team is about equal. That is if Jalen Duren's coming back, which obviously we were a top seed in the East last year, won a bunch of games. But how well are these guys even going to work together? We lost culture pieces. Isaiah Stewart's gone.
Mm-hmm.
He was a huge cornerstone of culture. Mind you, he wasn't playing as great, especially in the playoffs there. Sounds like there was some issues maybe toward the end of the season with him in the locker room as well. You lose Tobias Harris, another culture guy. But then even this time last year, you had Jalen Duren on vacation out in Colorado with Cade Cunningham. They're spending all this time together. What are they going to look like even from an emotional standpoint inside that locker room? Regardless of talent, they're going to have a huge adjustment period at the beginning of the season, and you have the East being completely shaken up. The Knicks feel extremely confident coming in, defending their title. LeBron goes to the 76ers. They might have the best lineup in all of basketball now.
Yeah. When
It's
everybody's healthy. For
Absolutely insane. So the East is a totally different spot. Would love this Duren deal to get done, but it looks like it's dragging, and I worry about us from a locker room standpoint just as much as I do on the court.
Kyle, the number one thing that I see people worried about with the Sixers is, are they actually going to be able to be healthy at any point? Can Embiid actually hold up? And obviously the answer to that has been no, which does mean LeBron's going to have to play a little bit of center. I still think he would destroy Duren in a playoff series. Like, let's say Embiid's out for an entire series and it's Pistons Sixers in the first round. I feel like LeBron is just owning Jalen Duren in every single way, fouling him out of every game, out-rebounding him, just bullying him on both ends.
That sounds like a nightmare. Having to play LeBron in round 1 in the end of his career, I think I would want the Pistons to lose.
Come on.
That's terrible. Take that back, Kyle. Now, I'm a generational LeBron
I'm just
hater.
kidding.
Never been a big LeBron guy, but if you look at it from a basketball standpoint, there's no better decision for him to make. I mean, this guy's absolutely incredible. The longevity is nuts. And basically all 5 of their starters are above average in terms of their position within the rest of the league, if not top 3 to 5.
Yeah. I think Philly should be the second favorite to come out of the Eastern Conference right now. I think the Knicks should still be the favorites, but they got worse. They lost Mitchell Robinson. Like, that's not nothing. I think the Sixers, it's obviously comes with the caveat when they're healthy. I think it's the best team in the Eastern Conference. I'm not worried about any sort of fit when it comes to the addition of LeBron James anywhere. People said the same thing, like, oh, there's too many ball-dominant players, too many heliocentric basketball players. People said the same thing about the Lakers, and they did their best, and it totally wouldn't say it totally worked out because it's not like they had a ton of postseason success, but there wasn't an issue in terms of LeBron doesn't have the ball and now he's upset. That's not a thing with LeBron James. I think there's a chance we get the 2020 version of LeBron the 2020 version of LeBron where he's averaging 9 assists a game. He's playing center and getting near double-digit rebounds every single game. The scoring doesn't necessarily have to be up, but he could easily average 15, 9, and 9 and be a pretty big impact player.
When you take a look at him, he's one of the smartest guys to ever play ball. So he's going to come into that locker room with his big old basketball brain and just figure out a way to make the team work. Embiid's going to be a guy that's going to be motivated to work with him. There's nobody on this team that has more at stake for legacy than Embiid right now.
Mm-hmm.
So if he finds a way to win a championship, even if it is with LeBron, it validates the whole process, everything in his career. The narrative's completely changed. You run it back one more time or two more times with Embiid in this group, I think they could get one. Obviously, you usually take the field just based on odds, 30 versus 1 team. I'm not saying they're going to win a championship, but I wouldn't see how they wouldn't be at least a top 3 or 4 favorite.
It's for sure the best fit if LeBron's only trying to win a ring, which it feels like he is. And I don't think that's a bad thing to be. I wouldn't even call it ring chasing because it's not like he just hopped on the best team the way that Durant did in 19. He looked at his options where he could realistically play and have a role, and he chose the best team. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. He wants to go compete.
And he's 42.
And he's 42.
He can't be ring chasing at this point of his career, right? I don't even think that's possible.
No. Not with everything he's accomplished.
Yeah.
All right, where do you stand on Tarek Skubal and whether or not the Tigers should trade him?
What a sad situation. We're talking about a 2-time Cy Young Award winner here, right? Cy Scooby. And yet we are all universally saying you have to trade him because we have to. He sent way too many mixed messages. There's no guarantee he would stay. We're not winning a World Series. You can throw that possibility out. If we do, man, I would love to be wrong on something. But we're losing way too many close games. As you guys said in your first segment, was it 17 games?
They've lost 17 games when they've had a lead in the 7th inning or later, which is the most in Major League Baseball.
That's unbelievable. The last 2 days were trash. Both of those games made me so upset watching them against the Royals at home.
A terrible team.
Yeah. I mean, I would love to extend Skubal last year and have him guaranteed through the future, but it's just gone on too far now. He's sending mixed messages through the media. Things are getting back-channeled, talking about his friends saying he wants to stay. It's almost too big of a sideshow now. You got to go get a big bat. Go get a big bat.
I think to keep him around, I don't know if it'd be a distraction, but it'd be such an awkward, does he even want to be here right now? And I know he's given out every reason that he does, but I think we all see through it. Right? There's nothing that actually has suggested that he wants to be here long term. It feels like everything he does is a play of some sort schemed by Scott Boras.
Now, something you guys haven't talked about, it's an extremely unlikely scenario. What if they came out tomorrow and they're we extended him? What would your reaction actually be?
I'd be thrilled. That's the entire
It just doesn't even feel like an option, though.
No, that's the entire reason I want to trade him. It's truly just asset management. Are you going to let a guy walk for absolutely nothing? Or are you going to capitalize on a player you, in hindsight, probably should have traded by now and get a bunch of players under team control for the foreseeable future and hopefully add a bat that can be a foundational part of your lineup every single day? Because right now they're still a bottom third offense in almost every single category. So if you want to keep him around and extend him, I have no problem with that. But I just don't want to let him go for absolutely nothing. But you're right, it doesn't really feel like an option. If I'm the Tigers, I do want to make one last-ditch effort, all right, we're going to trade you, but if you really want to be here long term, here's a 5-year contract for whatever whatever the total number is that puts his annual average salary at 35, 36, $37 million. Make him the highest paid pitcher, but don't give him the 10-year contract. Then once you trade him, you can put out a PR report that's or just do your post-deadline press conference if you're Scott Harris and be yeah, we tried to give him a realistic contract, but you have to actually give him a realistic contract because by all accounts, the Tigers have not done that at any point over the last few years.
Absolutely, and that's what's so frustrating about it. When people look at us and they're like, oh, the Tigers fans just talking all this about Skubal. We would love to have him. We'd love to have him, guaranteed to have him now. We're not, and it feels unlikely that if he stayed on this team through the rest of the year, that he would stay. I just don't see it happening.
All right, World Cup, I know we're a little bit past it, so we don't have to spend too much time on it. 1 to 10, how big of a success was it here in North America?
I think it was incredible. It's got to be an 8 or a 9. I mean, the big names were out there. When you walk away from it on where it changes soccer here in the United States, though, I don't think it has a huge impact for our ecosystem. I don't think it has a huge impact in terms of moving forward in elevating our leagues. But where it does have an impact is somebody like Kyle last week on the air saying, hey, I might look and see where I can get a Premier League team. So these big leagues really won out with these big names. Holland having a huge tournament, Bellingham having a huge tournament. When you look at the ecosystem of soccer in the United States, it's quite simple. We have the MLS, which is a major league, but it's fifth in line when you compare it to the other sports. It has a lot of money behind it, but it's a closed system. It doesn't match the rest of the world in the way that it looks. You have some other lower leagues which are competing to be top leagues, like USL. That's where Detroit City Football Club plays. They have the passion, they have a lot of the fans, and they have a system that's about to open up. The best thing for the United States would be if all these leagues could find a way to get along and create one large soccer ecosystem, but because of money, it's not going to happen. So I see soccer expanding overseas because of this World Cup with an American audience. I don't see it expanding here in the United States in terms of our local audience, which means kids are still going to be growing up looking at the NBA, the NFL, and emulating those players and saying, this is what I want to do. We just don't have the leagues to support soccer being a truly fifth major sport here in the United States.
Kyle, any updates on picking a team?
No, I haven't yet. I think I am going to pay attention, though. When does a Premier League start, Kevin?
So you've got some clubs in the United States right now. Liverpool had a match against Nashville actually
already
Saturday
started?
night in Nashville.
Wait.
So they're in the United States playing some American, playing some sports here, or playing some pregame here.
Oh, I was going to say,
But-
there's not American teams in the Premier League.
No.
These are just
They come
exhibitions.
over and they do friendlies against either other European clubs. They're going to play Wrexham here in the United States, so that's going to be interesting. But realistically, the actual season doesn't start until the end of August.
Kyle, at what point do we have to go to break?
We can hold this all the way to the end if you want.
Yeah, I think we might end up having to do that.
I've kind of already set it up that way if we want to do that. So
Okay.
Still got to talk about River Days.
I know. That's what we're leading towards. That it's like the grand finale.
Yeah, we still have to get to pop culture too.
I know. Well, that's where we'll go right now. House of the Dragon, another episode yesterday. Trying to avoid spoilers. This has been one of the most incredible seasons of television I've watched in a long time. Obviously, a lot of people disappointed in the way that season 2 went, just because there was a lot of like building towards what season 3 was going to be, and then season 3 starts with an absolute banger of an episode with the Battle of the Gullet, and it has just not slowed down in any way. I love the dialogue. I love the storytelling. I love the character development of every single one of the relationships that these characters are building within. You know, it feels like we are watching peak like season 4, season 5, season 6 of Game of Thrones, and I look forward to Sunday night every single weekend.
This is dynamic fantasy television right now. It's fantastic. And yeah, you talked about season 2 and the way that season 2 ended. And it kind of felt like a little bit of a letdown. And when you talk about leading to season 3, they talked about how those first 2 episodes of season 3 were actually probably supposed to be attached to season 2.
Right.
But due to production and dollars and the way that the show looks, it's a really expensive show to make.
And a writer's cut or
And
a writer's strike.
And a writer's strike. You have all of these complications. But this season has just been rolling, man. Big moments every single episode. Again, want to avoid spoilers because I know this is a show people go back and watch, and some people hold it right until the end. But it's just been fantastic. We're looking forward to Sunday night every single week.
I watch every episode twice. That's how much I like it right now. I finished the book this weekend, the Blood and Fire book, so now I'm like kind of anticipating the way that everything goes and seeing the differences in the show versus the book. Not even just the differences, but the more detail, because in the book you're like, this is just the case in most books versus movies. You're being told what happens versus like what's actually being said to each other. So getting the actual dialogue between the characters and how these decisions and results you end up getting there, it's brilliant screenwriting from everyone involved at HBO.
It's absolutely incredible. And what's been so much fun about it is with this one, they can't really mess it up the same way they did with Game of Thrones.
Right, because there's an actual ending.
Because it's written. Also, I want to make an appeal to Kyle. I think Kyle would love this stuff. He's a film guy. I think you'd really be into it, Kyle. You should take a look.
We've been trying to get him into any of it for
It's
kind of
like my bit to like not get involved in it.
But he does the
like
same thing with Marvel
Brad
too.
and Ben's thing. No, Marvel is not a bit. I truly won't get into Marvel. It's too late. It's too far gone.
See, here's the thing though, like getting into Game of Thrones and just the entire like Song of Ice and Fire universe just completely wrecked my life almost a year ago to the point where it just has derailed every.
Yeah, so that's the exact reason why I won't do it. You just said it ruined my life.
But in the best way possible. It was like consuming me. I was rushing home from work to turn on Game of Thrones and see how it ended up playing out. And now I'm equally as obsessed with the entire universe. I think I've looked at a map of Westeros more than I've looked at a map of the United States over the past year.
There's only so much time in the day, so I totally
That's
get
sad.
that. You know, I watched it during the pandemic, which was a fantastic time to watch it. But it truly becomes the only thing you start thinking about because you're just so invested in these well built out characters and the way these storylines go. And it looks incredible. So when I hear Kyle talking about Christopher Nolan films, I'm like, he would absolutely love the way that this looks and the way that this feels.
And the great houses and the political like mastermind
Absolutely.
grand scheme stuff. Who's your favorite character?
Oh my gosh. Rhaenyra is so interesting to me because I go back and forth on her so much.
Good intentions.
And I don't want to name her as, I know it's the token pick, but I'm just so interested to see the way that I feel about her episode to episode.
It's so funny because for 2 seasons we were like, oh, she's supposed to be queen, and now she's queen, and it's like, I don't really think she's supposed to be queen.
She's not supposed to be queen. It just feels like it.
I'm starting to become. I hated Aegon for the entire first 2 seasons, and you're supposed to. He's becoming a very fascinating character with how he is just kind of going on his own journey away from the throne.
Well, it's extremely weird stuff when you're looking at all the dreams that he's having and like the magic that he's like taking part in. It's just absolutely incredible. And you've got random deaths going on and people are burying bodies and everybody's on their own little piece right now. Like the brothers are separated and it's going to be interesting to see the way it plays out.
Okay, The Odyssey.
The Odyssey.
Have you seen it?
I've seen it. I did not see it in 70 millimeter. I wish I saw it in 70 millimeter.
Regular IMAX?
Saw it in just regular theater here in Midland. I do feel forever changed though. Absolute amazing movie. I have to see it in 70 millimeter. I know they're going to run this thing for a year or two, I'm assuming. So
You think it'll be in theaters for a year?
I think it'll be out for a really long time. I don't see how they couldn't. Their demand is going to be so high. I think this is a luxury product at this point. I'm surprised we haven't seen people hawking tickets for $1,000 the way it's selling out.
Well, I do think that there's like, it's saving movies in a way that if they're going to just go all in on like making these sort of IMAX movies to where, okay, they're even where you get to a theater where it's 70 millimeters, like the only one in Michigan is over in Grand Rapids. I was looking at it yesterday just for fun. The next time you can go see that movie in the 70 millimeter inch is 8 days from now. Every single showing is sold out from the early showings at 7:30 a.m. The latest showings are at 10:45. Every single showing is sold out until next Tuesday.
I looked over last weekend. They had a 6:35 a.m. showing and a 1:45 a.m. in the middle of the night showing, meaning they were running it 24 hours a day last week.
And it's sold out every single showing. Like, that is how much of a demand there is.
Crazy.
I do think it stays in theaters for, like, an absurdly long time. I would go see it again. And
Absolutely.
I saw it in regular IMAX, and I would, like, very much recommend going to see it in IMAX again, because that is a movie where, you can say this about a lot of different movies, this more than any movie that's ever been created, it's just not going to hit the same if you're watching it at home on your TV or on your phone or on your computer. It will not be the same experience as being deafened by every sound that happens. I don't know how it was in the theater in Midland. I thought I was going to lose my hearing by the end of it. It is so loud.
It was still extremely dynamic at a regular theater, and the crowd at a random Friday afternoon, a week after it was out, was still huge. So I was pretty blown away by just the demand for this film in general, but I could not imagine it in 70 millimeter. And the whole time I was watching it, all I thought was, I have to see this in 70 millimeter. Now, I think it's okay to see it another way, but if you are the type of person that really feels like you want to have that experience, I can't imagine it being better than having that experience at the 70 millimeters.
Kyle's the biggest film guy I know.
Yeah.
And it's like blowing my mind that he hasn't seen it yet, because I'm so excited to talk to him about it.
Been busy, man.
I know you have.
Maybe if you didn't leave last week, I could have seen it by now.
Yeah, he had to be you, and then he had to go be John.
Yeah,
you guys
man.
were playing musical chairs around here.
I can't be me. I can't be movie watching me last week. I'll see it. Don't worry.
I know. I need to go see it again for sure. It's 3 hours, but there's like at 0 point am I like, oh, like, when is this going to be done? It finished, and I was like, no, like I want more of this. I feel like this
wanted
could
more.
Keep going.
I immediately looked at my fiance and I was like, can we just go back in? Like, I think I need to see this again right now.
And I don't think I've ever felt that way about a 3 hour movie before. Usually I'm like, yeah, I need some time to digest it. I wanted to go see it again immediately. It is that good. Instant reaction walking out of the theater was, it's the best movie I've ever seen. Now, I've had some time to like sit and digest that, and it's probably not true, but it's for sure one of the best movies I've ever seen.
We all have our favorites for different reasons, and we could sit here and name our favorite films or why we like a film, but when you look at the culmination of everything that movie brought forward, it might be the best movie I've ever seen, just in terms of the way it was made.
I saw it with my girlfriend, and she said, I think that's the best movie I've ever seen. I said, what does it dethrone? And she said, the Lego Movie.
Fantastic flick.
Oh, so she's seen 2 movies in her life?
I laughed about that for like a solid hour. And we saw it at 11 p.m. Not a single open seat. Crowd stood up and cheered and applauded when it finished.
Yeah.
It was like the fact that it had been out for a week and you're still getting that rowdy of crowds because it's such a high demand. In a lot of ways, I think it's saving movies. Like, if we can go get crazy IMAX showings like this throughout the year, and we're going to get more of them with Doomsday and then Dune 3, and then even Spider-Man this weekend, like, yes. I don't care if the ticket prices go up. That was one of the best experiences in a theater I've ever had.
Well, even the dialogue that we're having right now on a sports radio show in Midland, Michigan, can you imagine the dialogue worldwide? I mean, everybody is talking about this. It's became a pop culture moment where people are going to keep seeking it out. The demand is there. And like you said, it's low-key saving movies. As long as these things make money, they will make more films like this.
Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was perfect. All right. I promise you're not leaving here without talking a little bit of River Days. We're going to do that when we come back. So we're leading the 11 o'clock hour with that. Some fantastic stuff in town. I've got some personal experiences that I would like to share revolving around River Days. I know you've got a lot of great things to say. This is one of the most fun weeks of the summer throughout the course of the summer here in the Great Lakes Bay region. So stay tuned. We're going to get you some details on that when we come back. Kevin LeDuc's here representing the Midland Area Community Foundation. Ben Bosscher, Kyle Sandel behind the glass here on the Ben Bosscher Show, live here on 100.9 The Met.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding.
.9 The Mitt, WLUN, Pinconning Bay City, Saginaw, Midland.
You just missed a great Big Brother conversation off air. We'll save that for another rainy day. All right, LeDuc's still here representing the Midland Area Community Foundation. We just went through a whole plethora of stuff. That might be the most wide-ranging segment. What are you going to label that show on the podcast, Kyle? That might be the most wide-ranging segment of of radio we've ever done.
Yeah, I already called it. Kevin LeDuc talks LeBron, Skubal, and pop culture, and that's only like half of it.
Yeah.
Perfect. Love it.
So that was really fun. But you're here to talk about River Days, which is one of my favorite events that we have here in the Great Lakes Bay region, specifically here in Midland, throughout the course of this whole summer. It happens to be on the same week that the Loons are in town this weekend, which surprisingly hasn't happened since 2019. Is that a coincidence, or has there always been some strategic, like, no, let's alternate it, but this year it happens to be same week? Like, what's going on there?
Just a coincidence. It's just minor league baseball scheduling. We're always the first Saturday of August. So that's the time period that we always take up. So with you guys just being home this weekend, it's just been a while.
For sure a good thing, though, right? It's
Absolutely.
not like we're competing against each other in any way.
No, it's fantastic. It adds so much energy to the downtown. And I sent you guys a picture earlier, and it's the same photo that's still on the Downtown Midland website.
Or YouTube's looking at it right now.
Yeah, so depending on the weather, the balloons might come right over the ballpark. And I know with you guys having Dogman Weekend coming up, this is a big one. So just really excited to kind of compound and give a lot of people activities, things to do here in the Great Lakes Bay region, but specifically here in downtown Midland. The energy is going to be incredible between River Days going on down by the Tridge and Chippewa Park. Music still going on in downtown. You've got the Loons in town. It's a banner weekend for our community.
So let's backpedal a little bit, because I know what it is. You obviously know what it is. For anyone who doesn't, what is River Days downtown Midland?
Midland Area River Days Festival is a multi-day celebration over a weekend where what we're doing is we're celebrating the past of Midland, but really honoring our future as well. And we do that by bringing people together by a few things that we're really good at. Free fun is one of the things we're good at. Fireworks at the end of the celebration, hot air balloon launches, food, and music. And that really is the festival. There's something for everybody. We've got a kid zone for stuff to do for kids. We have free rides for kids. We have awesome photo opportunities. You'll see those photos popping up all year round, all around the internet, in periodicals, printed materials. It's just a really awesome weekend for Midland to come together and celebrate. You get to know your neighbors a little bit more and hopefully draw people emotionally closer to this place that we all live in.
When I first moved here, I was riding my bike around town on the trail, and I just happened to stroll into River Days, and I was like, what the hell is this? Why are there hot air balloons everywhere? Why is there 1 trillion food trucks where I'm supposed to be biking? Like, dumb me, just moved to town, just trying to get a bike ride. And I'm like, why are there so many people? What is happening down here? And stumbling onto that, I was like, this is one of the coolest things I've ever seen, having no idea what it was. Just all of the hot air balloons, 20 of them out in the field. Just a really cool sight that you just don't see anywhere else. Like, I don't know where else I could see 20 hot air balloons all go up into the air at the same time, other than Midland this weekend.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Weird. It's cool.
There's been some sort of River Day celebration here in Midland since basically the 1950s, and a lot of times it took place around 4th of July. But toward the late 80s, early 90s, it came into its own and grabbed its own weekend, and we've added events since then. We've taken away events, and we changed it a little bit each and every year. But the hot air balloons were an add-on almost 10 years ago now. We always had a hot air balloon festival over at the fairgrounds in the fall. But when that group was no longer able to facilitate it, they came to us and said, hey, this could be a cool add-on for River Days. And being able to put them in that field in Chippewa Park, although we might not have as many hot air balloons as we would like, we're at the maximum that we can fit. So it is great in terms of density and the amount of people that we can get downtown. It's just going to be another fantastic River Days weekend.
I didn't realize you guys already had the food trucks determined.
Yeah.
Every food truck that I've ever seen in town, which for some reason there's a crazy amount of food trucks I see throughout town throughout the course of the week and the month during the summer. You guys basically have every single one of them.
Yeah, we have so many great food trucks, everything from pizza to popcorn. If you're looking for some ice cream on a hot summer day, coffee, waffles, anything you could need. And then on top of that, we have 2 big food events as well. Our Midland Rotary Clubs always come together to do a great job to put on a cheeseburger dinner. So that will be rocking on Friday night starting at 5 o'clock. They also do the beer and wine tent for us. And then on Saturday, we have our Lions Chicken Dinner, and that is while supplies last, and they sell out almost every single year.
So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday's kind of the wrap-it-up day. What's your most exciting, what day are you most looking forward to?
I'm always excited just to get it started. So the last few years, we've started the festival with a river cleanup, and I know that's dirty and it doesn't sound exciting, but with River Days and having River right in the name, us being able to pair with the Chippewa Nature Center to kind of clean up the riverbanks and the areas around the Tridge to start the festival, I just think it's a great reminder of the spirit behind this festival where, yeah, we're having a lot of fun, we're eating some great food, we have a lot of free fun going on, the fireworks are awesome, the balloons are awesome, but just being able to clean the river up and really get the festival underway and then partner with downtown to do the glow downtown and it's just an awesome weekend where so many people are coming together to help make this happen. It's not just the community foundation. It's so much more than just us.
Wait, so fireworks downtown Midland Saturday night, right?
Yeah, so you guys will
So
have fireworks,
double fireworks
to end the
show
Loons game.
Saturday night.
Wow.
Yes, and then we'll have them at 10:15, and that's the Esther Gerstacker Fireworks Show, sponsored by the Roland M. Gerstacker Foundation. So if you're leaving the Loons game and you just saw some great fireworks here, why don't you head outside? Wolverine's going to be working hard. They're going to be sending some more up in the air on the downtown side as well.
You're for sure doing it after the Loons game, though? Or is it like we'll see what happens time-wise? You guys are dead set at 10:15
p.m. is what we're telling our audience.
You know what? I don't know if this is just a me selfish thing. I don't even know if we'll be able to see both of them just based on, the way the stadium's facing. I think it'd be pretty cool if they were both going off at the same time.
I think it'd be great as well, so we'll just see when the game ends. I know you guys are ending a little bit earlier now, so I think you're going to get that pre-wave now, probably, 9:45-ish, 9:30?
Kyle, we're ending early now? I wasn't aware of this.
I mean, like, I don't.
I'm sure you guys don't feel like it, but I
Depends.
remember sometimes waiting for fireworks all night long here, and it seems like it got really late. Well, a few years ago when the pitch clock got
I think
put
we
in,
get into it pretty quickly.
You get 'em pretty
now.
quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, usually we don't have to kill a ton of time anymore.
Yeah.
Just depends on the pitching performances. And sometimes by Saturday, they're using a lot of the bullpen guys too, so it does end up being a little bit longer of a game. All right, so Friday, what is there to look forward to on Friday? We talked Saturday, but Friday, what are the big highlights?
Yeah, Friday night, you can obviously go see our balloon glow out in Chippewassee Park. Before that, that's when they're going to do their mass ascension. So they're going to fly out of Chippewassee Park. They'll come back and do the glow. But also Friday night, we got a couple of bands playing as well. We got Seeks, CEYX. They're going to be music on the Bob John stage starting at 5 o'clock. And then after them, we also have Elements of Soul, which is a band out of Detroit. So we got a couple great bands. But after that, there is a downtown after party with Stone Street Revival on the main stage where they will do later music than normal. So from 9 to 11, downtown will be rocking. And I put it up as the most exciting night in downtown Midland all year long. So Friday night, the after party, you're going to see about more people in downtown Midland than you will throughout the entire year.
All right, you convinced me, man.
It's awesome.
As soon as the Loons
That's
game's
Friday
done, I'm
night,
headed
yeah.
there.
Friday night, the energy down there,
Man.
you can hardly move.
Really?
You can hardly move.
So the band is playing. It's not where like the regular live music is in the downtown strip. It's closer downtown behind all the buildings towards the river, right?
So for us, those first two bands Friday night will be down by the river. That's our programming here at River Days. But then downtown Midland puts on the River Days after party, which will be on their stage on Main Street.
And that will also have live music?
Correct.
Okay, so Friday night really is just like
Music,
Midland's
music,
night.
music, music, music. And then Saturday night, you'll get a couple great bands as well on our stage. We're going to end with Miranda and the M80s, which is cool for me. I went to school with Miranda. I've known her since we were like 4 years old. So it's fun to watch her go ahead and be the main stage performer for us Saturday night. But then those fireworks at 10:15 are some of the better fireworks you're going to see all year.
So it sounds like if you live in the Great Lakes Bay region and you just decline to be a part of anything that's going on here, whether it's Loons games or, by the way, it's still in first place, right, Kyle?
Correct.
Close to first place still. So
Ooh, those last three, though. Huh.
yeah, tough last couple of games, but still in first place after awesome start to the second half. So we've got Loons games going on here. We've got Dogmen coming Saturday. We've got fireworks Saturday. That's just the ballpark. And then with River Days going on less than a half a mile away from the stadium, I mean, if you're not headed downtown Midland for at least one day, what are we doing? This is what it's all about.
I agree. Even Sunday morning, if you get up early and you watch the balloons drop, and then I think you guys have Paw Patrol Day here on Sunday even. So
We do.
all sorts of stuff going on all weekend here in downtown.
And then what's our Friday game? Friday we've got
Copa night.
oh my God, another Copa night. Get involved with the little Hispanic culture. I'm sure we'll have some food trucks here that night as well. Like this is kind of the weekend for just kind of celebrating summer here in the community. So I'm looking forward to it. Kevin, I know you do a great job making sure the event gets
Appreciate
put on. We'll be here working the Loons games, but from the sound of it, afterwards on either Friday or Saturday or both, heading immediately downtown and walking down there to just enjoy the community and the event that you guys worked so hard to put on. Because, like I said, this is one of my favorite events, not just during the summer, but throughout the course of the whole year in terms of what this community is capable of putting on.
I agree. Come on downtown and check it out. That's River Days. It's going to be July 30th through August 2nd. Go to riverdaysmidland.com to see the full schedule. Also follow us on social media. That's where we'll give you any sort of updates with any sort of weather cancellations or if anything has to happen with the balloons. But we're looking forward to an awesome weekend. And if you see me bopping around, say hello to a very, very tired Kevin Leduc this weekend.
We didn't miss anything, right? Any big highlights from what's going to be coming up Thursday through Sunday? There was nothing we missed specifically?
Quite simple, man. Free fun, hot air balloons, music, food, and fireworks. Come on down. Let's have a good time.
We got all of it. All right, there you go. Midland River Days happening this weekend, along with a handful of Loons games here at Dow Diamond as well. So come out, enjoy the fun. Should be a really fun weekend. Kevin, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
It's the Ben Bosscher Show live here on the Mitt. The 11 o'clock hour, as always, is brought to you by Yetter Insurance. Life happens fast, and at Yetter Insurance Group, they're here to make sure you're covered every step of the way. At Yetter Insurance Group, they want to put you in the best insurance position possible. That is Yetter Insurance Group. They've been here since 1940. They're the people you can actually talk to when you need insurance advice. They'll be there when you need them since 1940. That's Yetter Insurance.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and on 100.9 The Mid.
All right, welcome back in. This is the Ben Bosscher Show. We're live here on 100.9 The Minute. Once again, thanks for Kevin LeDuc and the Midland Area Community Foundation for making River Days possible. We're excited about that this weekend. You know, I didn't realize that they just hadn't fallen on the same weekend, the Loons games and River Days, for 7 consecutive years. pretty fun stuff happening in town. I know we just kind of went over
There's
that,
a lot.
There's no need to continue doing it, but I'm really looking forward to this weekend now. Now, I'm a little sad that I can't just go be a part of River Days every day because I'll be at the ballpark, but also we're going to have some awesome days at the ballpark this upcoming weekend too with Copa Night on Friday. Always love that. And then Dogman on Saturday, which has basically been, like a pet project from everyone in the organization for the better part of a year. So really excited to
And
unveil
then
that
Paw
on
Patrol
Friday.
Sunday. Sheesh.
Yeah, that one as well. I will for sure be going downtown Midland immediately following Friday's game, though. That sounds really fun. All right, with that being said, let's get into it. Tarek Skubal, the saga won't stop. We have 6 days left. I can guarantee that the Tigers will not be above 500 come the trade deadline. Usually teams that are 500, and that's if they go 6-0. Teams that are 500 or below 500, which is much more likely. Usually those teams sell at the deadline, Kyle. And I have a feeling the Tigers are going to sit on their hands and do nothing. That's what my gut tells me at this point. They are not going to move on from Tarek Skubal. They're going to keep him around. And they're just not going to have the balls to actually move off of him, which is going to put them in a position to where if they don't make the playoffs, everyone should lose their jobs. That's kind of what my prediction is at this point.
Which we discussed this earlier, and I want to bring it up because we got a really interesting YouTube chat at the beginning of the show. But anyways, it's like a double wrong move from Scott Harris to not, like, if he doesn't trade Skubal. I still think it's unlikely. I would be floored if they don't. A lot of the reporting this weekend that you did here, which obviously you can't trust all of this because it's everybody's getting their word on it. And a lot of it is kind of Scott Boras pushed. And then the Tigers are likely doing a similar thing here, and they're probably wanting to push out some statements just to make teams feel more aggressive or whatever it is. But it was the wording that was, hey, the Tigers want to trade Tarek Skubal while spinning it to their fans that this is not them giving up, which they don't have to spin it, man. I think that's kind of what most fans want to happen. I don't think that trading Tarek Skubal is an automatic waving the white flag. Oh, we're canceling the rest of the season. We're tanking. We're going to be the worst team in the division now. I don't think that's what it is, and I think the fans realize that, and it just makes me wonder also with the way that we've discussed how Scott Harris would feel liked from the fan base if they trade Skubal. Do they not know how Tigers fans feel? I just think most of the way that they have worded or at least the reporting has been worded about what the Tigers want to do, it's like they think we're all dumb. It's just frustrating.
I think that the point, regardless of what you do, you're going to piss off half the people. There's going to be a section of Tigers fans that are annoyed with everything that you do.
Are they not already pissed off, though? That's my thing.
For being
are
6
are we
games under
happy
500?
and are we all super happy and giddy about what's going on right now? Everyone's already mad.
That's a great point. What is there actually to be happy about? Oh, we're only 6 games under 500 now. This team's not all that great.
Yeah, that's what I don't get. Oh, you're gonna destroy. You're gonna get the fan base mad. We're already mad, dude. This is a chance to make some people that are mad happier. And it's setting up the future.
And it's funny, too, because it's they've been the best team in the league since June 1st. It's okay, cool. You lost 2 straight games, and now all of a sudden you're 6 games below 500 yet again.
That's the thing. The June stuff is great. Yeah, best team in the league. Look at the standings still. You've gained 2 spots in the whole month of June and July.
Yeah. We said this from the very jump. They're going to be a much better baseball team from this point moving forward once everyone got back from injuries.
Yeah.
It was always a matter of can they climb out of the hole that they've dug themselves in, and they've played well enough to where if they were to maintain that pace, they will eventually climb out of that hole.
Will they?
If they play the way that they did in June the rest of the season, I think they will. But it is near impossible to play at that pace for the remainder of the season, and even one slip where you don't win a series, which they didn't this weekend against a god-awful Kansas City team, is so detrimental when you're already trying to fight your way out of the hole that you've dug yourself. Every one of these series losses basically counts as 2 series losses because of what you did in May. So one slip up, all of a sudden, it's the equivalent of taking 3 steps backwards based on what you did in May.
And when you have an opportunity in front of you, 4 games against one of the worst teams in baseball without Bobby Witt Jr. So without him, they probably are the worst team in baseball. You have that opportunity in front of you and you don't take advantage of it and you split the series at home where you've been much better this year. It's less about the number of them being 3.5 games out of the wild card, and it's the number of teams that they're competing with. There are 5 teams ahead of them for that final wild card spot. you have to rely on so many other things to go your way. They could go on a 5-game win streak and still be 1 or 2 games out of the wild card just because of how the standings work out. So it's about the division. And I mentioned this last week on the show, like, I'm just no longer going to do the whole, the White Sox will fall off at some point.
No,
because they've just been 5 to 7 games above 500 the whole year. So I'm just going to assume that that's going to stand at this point. And we all know the Guardians are going to win 80 to 85 games. They do it every single year. Can the Tigers?
It seems to me like the best case scenario for the Tigers is they finish a couple of games above 500. And that's like the best case scenario.
Yes. Yeah, that is absolutely best case scenario.
Which probably doesn't get you into the playoffs.
Probably not, because right now that final wildcard spot is a team that is a game above 500. So sure, people can make that take. We're also at the point in the season, though, where things will start to separate.
Yeah.
Like now that the trade deadline happens, things will start to change. Teams are going to sell that are in the same area as the Tigers. Teams are going to buy. Like it will finally start to stretch itself out a little bit. So yeah, that final wildcard spot will likely go to a team that is in the 5 to 6 games above 500 range. And the Tigers are 5 to 6 games below 500 currently. So
which basically means they're 12 games out.
A 12-game spin, like that feels unlikely. The YouTube chat I wanted to get to, I think this is really interesting because we discussed, hey, for Scott Harris, you trade Tarek Skubal, you're extending your job life. And if you don't, you're taking such a huge risk, not only for the Tigers' future, but you're taking the risk for your own job. Chris says, would you rather, and this really just tells how much you value Scott Harris, they don't trade Skubal, still miss playoffs, but Scott Harris is fired, which that would happen if they don't trade Skubal and they miss the playoffs 100%. Or they trade Skubal and Harris saves his job and he's here for a couple more years. How much do you not want Scott Harris to be your GM is essentially the question.
I care about moving Scott Harris more than I care about. Like if they trade Scott Harris, if they trade Tarek Skubal, I'm fine and content with him being here. I'm not going to be like, devastated that he's still here. I don't love him, but if he trades Tarek Skubal, I think that is a good enough reason. Like, okay, he made the right move. Let's see how this thing pans out. Keeping Tarek Skubal, him walking for nothing and then firing him is almost like a consolation prize of like Chris Ilitch being like, I'm so sorry, fans. I know we botched that. We're going to move off. It'll be like, well, at least they did that. It'll be like you didn't win, but we'll do something to try to make this better, and that would be getting rid of him.
I would, but that's obvious. Like then I would have been like, dude, they should have fired him a year ago because he did nothing.
Correct.
And I'm willing to, because I think the answer to the question is just what's more important for the team, for the franchise. Trading Tarek Skubal impacts the Tigers more than getting off of Scott Harris.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you could just hire another dumb guy to run the team. Like that could just happen. Whereas trading Tarek Skubal actually can get you something that can build towards the future. Now, it also can get you something that is a complete disappointment. And there is a third option here where you do trade Tarek Skubal and Scott Harris is still fired at the trade deadline, at the end of the season, which would be really weird because you just allowed a guy that you knew you were firing 3 months later to make the biggest decision in the team's last 10 years. That didn't seem like the right move. Mm-mm. So then all signs really point back to Chris Ilitch essentially in this scenario. But yeah, either way, trading Skubal impacts the team much more than firing Scott Harris.
989-837-6125. This is the Ben Bosscher Show, live here on 100.9 The Mitt. Before we send it to one more, we're going to get to Around the League still, so don't... we haven't even done news yet, have we?
We haven't even done news yet.
Man, we have just been flying through today's show.
Is this going to be a non-Around the League show? I think it is, right?
I think so. This has been the fastest 3 hours ever. And I don't know if it's just because I was gone last week, so it's easy to do this show. This has absolutely flown by in terms of the pace of this show. Anyway, before we go, I should tell you about Ace Hardware and Sports, another thing locally owned and proudly operated downtown Midland. Stop in on East Main Street in the heart of downtown Midland. That is Ace Hardware, helping you get ready for the seasons ahead while supporting your community. Your go-to spot as we are now in the midst of summer. Speaking of summer, that means it's golf season, and if you're like me, you're looking for new places to play, golfers don't look any further. Apple Mountain in Freeland, where every round comes with a side of scenic perfection, championship-level course, beautifully maintained, and just the right mix of challenge and fun. When you've wrapped up 18, head to the Apple Mountain Restaurant, the perfect place for casual elegance and spectacular views. Whether you're playing for score or just soaking in the atmosphere, Apple Mountain is your place to unwind, recharge, and enjoy the game. That's Apple Mountain in Freeland, minutes away but miles from Ordinary.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building. Built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
All right, let's get into it. We haven't done it yet. Kyle Sandel, take it away with the news.
The Mits Morning Catch.
Hey, we're back with the news. Man, a lot of news to go over. We haven't done a show since Wednesday.
Oh,
we got to
wow.
talk about everything that's happened since then.
Do you want to do me a favor? I want to mix things up. Do you want to share with me your news document? Because I feel like I will retain and hear you better if I can also follow along.
I think I do have it shared. No, I don't have it shared with you. Yeah, I'll share it with you.
I'm usually in the dark, and then I feel like I'm a bad listener. But if I can see it, I feel like I will be a better listener as well.
Okay, what Gmail do I use?
To get it to me?
Yeah, I use a Google Doc.
Whatever one's already there, preferably you don't say it over the air.
Yeah, I don't think I have it. Gmail of yours, though, on file.
Huh.
I'll figure it out. Okay, anyways, starting off with the news. Mentioned this earlier. Kerby Joseph, Ryan Branch, Tyler Conklin all placed on the PUP list. We were discussing that earlier. LeBron to Philly. Do we need to talk about that more? We haven't really talked about it. Like, what was your reaction? What were you doing when LeBron went to Philly? This is a big deal.
I was playing pickleball, losing. And I got back to my phone. I was like, I just was in shock. I couldn't believe it. This was the last place I thought he was going to go of any of the realistic options that were, presented to us throughout the course of the LeBron sweepstakes. I think it is the best basketball fit for him in terms of, ability to win a championship. Just kind of shocking at all that he's like going to a place that he's never gone before. But then again, like that's kind of what LeBron does. He paves his own path. So I'm looking forward to it. I do think they're the second best team in the Eastern Conference, only behind the Knicks. You got to give the Knicks the benefit of the doubt there. Whether or not this team can actually, be healthy for consecutive playoff series is TBD. But LeBron doesn't have to play like 70 games or anything close to that because they have Jaylen Brown who can play damn near 82 games. They have Maxine Edgecombe, both young guys who are willing to, play big minutes. They can take it pretty easy with Embiid and LeBron and still be a good regular season team. I don't really think this team cares about having home field advantage or not in the postseason. So I do think that this is just like a lock to make the playoffs based on the three younger guys. And then because you have LeBron and because you have Embiid, man, if you can just get to April with them being healthy, this is a legitimate scary team in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, I've kind of really gone back and forth on all of this. I hated it at first, and the more I've talked myself into it, I would love it so much more if Jaylen Brown wasn't there. I really would. I think Jaylen Brown is like kind of the loser of this. There's no way that like he went from the whole last year was my favorite year of my career because I got to be the guy. Well, now what are you? Like, the Jaylen Brown part of it scares me. For the regular season, sure, I think it'll be totally fine because Jaylen Brown is extremely durable, and LeBron and Embiid, they're going to miss a ton of games. I just don't know, man. The Jaylen Brown part of it makes it so weird. He's a great player. I don't disagree with that, but, like, I just think him going from that situation in Boston where it felt like they had to get rid of him because he wasn't the guy, and now he's maybe number 4, is just crazy.
I think that it was less about Jaylen Brown wanting his own team as to why he wanted out of Boston. I don't think it was as much, I want to be the best player on my own team. I think it was more, I felt disrespected because and discredited for the way I was treated in Boston for everything that I've done. I think it was more about discredit than it was about having your own team. He just felt disrespected there, in my mind.
Yeah, I think he did too. And that's obviously why they had to trade him, but I'm just interested to see what he's willing to sacrifice, Like, Jaylen Brown is just a player that, the Bill Simmons take was so funny of the dude standing in the corner. Like, Jaylen Brown doesn't do that. Jaylen Brown is a guy that had one of the highest usage rates in Boston Celtics history last year.
But I think it can work because LeBron is maybe one of the most selfless basketball players we've ever seen. Now, yeah. The
Embiid part of it's pretty clunky, too. Like,
it is, for sure. LeBron's going to be playing center a good amount. The days of LeBron scoring 50 are behind him. He probably could have done that way more than he actually did in his career. But less than 6 years ago, LeBron led the league in assists and won a title doing it. I think we could see a very, is it going to shock you if LeBron's 16, 9, and 9 a night? No? I think that'd be pretty awesome for LeBron to be 16, 9, and 9 a night.
I think that probably is pretty accurate as far as what it could be, yeah.
It's for sure my League Pass MVP team going into the year.
Well, duh. I mean, it's LeBron. It's whatever team LeBron was going to go to.
But it's also LeBron with
you're not going to need League Pass to watch this team. I promise you that. They're going to be on national TV every night.
Yeah. Yeah, that's who really wins. No, you know who
They
really
can put out the
loses?
schedule now.
You know who really loses is Philadelphia fans who get their national TV games blacked out and have to pay for every subscription to watch the 76ers because they're going to be on national TV.
If you're a fan, though, you
30
already
games.
have all that stuff.
Not the die. Like, there's a lot of people that just, if you're from the city, you just watch your team.
But if your team is good, like, you're going to be on that. Like, Philly was already good. They just got Jaylen Brown. They were already going to be on TV a bunch,
Sure. Yeah, you're right.
We can talk about more LeBron stuff.
Philly Celtics is now emerged as the number one rivalry in the NBA.
Christmas Day headliner.
For sure. The 7 p.m.
I like the Philly-New York to open the season. I think that makes sense.
Oh, they already announced that?
No, but, like, that's kind of what people are saying. Like, since Philly will probably play Boston on Christmas, Philly versus New York, the reigning champs versus LeBron and Philly, like, I think that would be fun.
And then you could do back-to-back games opening day of that and OKC versus versus the Spurs.
Anytime LeBron plays Cleveland, like, that's the part that I'm most excited for. If we get a Philly-Cleveland playoff series, LeBron going back to Cleveland for a playoff environment, that is going to be so fun.
Because he never took out the Cavs when he was
they
on
were terrible.
Miami.
They were awful. They didn't make the playoffs any of those years. So it'd be like a really cool thing to see that.
He could very easily run into Miami or Cleveland.
Yeah, the Miami one is kind of whatever, but the Cleveland one that's the one.
I mean, LeBron, Giannis, Bam, and all those guys on Philly all sharing a court, like, that is a star-studded series.
The East in general has just become extremely star-studded.
Yeah, everyone got petrified of what's going on at OKC and San Antonio. It was like, let's get the hell out of here.
Speaking of I don't know, is he a star anymore at this point in the Eastern Conference? Mark Stein reporting late last night says league sources are telling him Jalen Duren is, quote, waiting the unappealing prospect of playing out the 26-27 season on a qualifying offer. This has been rumored now for quite some time. It would be an extremely dumb decision from Jalen Duren to do this, but it's more so just a threat to the Pistons. But I don't really get that he won't sign there long term. I guess that's the only leverage he has at this point. This has gotten to a point where I just am so sick of it.
We need to kidnap Jalen Duren's agent and have him just be a missing person. Therefore, Jalen Duren can hire a different agent, and we can actually get this deal done. I would like to get Jalen Duren in a room and just seriously ask him, like, do you support everything that your agent's doing right now? Because you demanding, like, the absolute max contract is, like, BS crazy.
LeBron's making $4 million next year, dude.
Wemby's making 43, and you want, like, the max $50 million per year deal. Like, what are you talking about, man? Just take your 36 M's per year and move on.
It's extremely frustrating. Hopefully we get no update on it for another month because we're not going to get anything until September or October when the deadline finally is for Jalen Duren. Okay, let's take a look at the Covenant Healthcare Orthopedics and Sports Medicine injury report. Javi Baez this weekend making 2 rehab stints with AAA Toledo. He was at shortstop Saturday, went 3 for 4 with 3 doubles, and then yesterday made a rehab start in center field, so getting a little bit of both. He goes 2 for 4 in that game, so he is a combined right now 5 for 8 in his 2 rehab starts in Toledo. He's looking pretty good. AJ Hinch did say going into the game Sunday that both Jackson Jobe and Javi Baez were planning on returning to Comerica Park today just for a check-in to meet up. But Hinch jokingly said he actually doesn't know if he wants Javi to come back because if Javi gets in his office, he will not leave until he's brought back to the major league team. So he's like, and I just don't want to rush him back if he's not ready. So I don't know if Javi Baez is, but Jackson Jobe did make another rehab start with AA Erie, and his next rehab start will be with the Toledo Mudhens. So Jobe is returning relatively soon, and Javi Baez could be returning within days.
Yeah, he only made 1 start for Erie. I think it's kind of safe to assume...
And he's going to Toledo next, yeah.
We're only going to get 2 more Jackson Jobe starts maximum at the minor league level, so I would guess within the next 2 weeks, we're getting a Jackson Jobe start.
All right, I'm going to rapid fire other news things that have happened while we've been gone. And you just give me quick reactions. Kevin Durant posted a pic on Instagram with Cade Cunningham. Something or nothing?
Nothing.
Yeah, Devin Booker was also in one of the pics. So I agree it's nothing, but I like to over-speculate on these type of things. Duke versus Michigan basketball. It's canceled this year. The regular season game that was supposed to be played. First it was at MSG, then it was in Miami, then it was going to be at LCA. It's all over the place. Or no, the other Duke game is at LCA. What do you think?
I think that Duke signing this deal with Amazon is really going to screw with other teams. I think most teams don't really care, and they'll gladly hop on the Amazon broadcast to allow everyone nationwide to be able to see their games on a national platform. And, even obviously it's an exclusive deal with Duke, so they're the ones that are profiting from this the most. I think Michigan is one of the few schools that has just as big of a brand and said, no, if we can't split the revenue, then we're not doing this game. And I think that's ultimately the reason that game is not happening. So they bring in Texas Tech, I believe, instead.
Yeah, which is still a pretty primetime matchup, but it's not the reigning champs. So Duke and Texas Tech also played in the regular season last year as well. Another interesting one here. Patrick Kane. Saw someone put this in our YouTube chat earlier. He's gone from Detroit, and he's back in Chicago. 2-year deal for Pat Kane to return to the Blackhawks. Red Wings full rebuild? Dylan Larkin trade coming soon? Question marks?
That I don't think has anything to do with the Patrick Kane, whether or not Larkin gets moved. I think this was not a dumb decision to bring him in the first place, but to have Alex DeBrincat and Patrick Kane, sure, it was cool. Try not to have two little guys on the ice at the same time, and they brought in two little guys.
Ward Manuel is to be paid $7.2 million in a lump sum as part of a separation agreement from Michigan. Pretty good. Hey, I'm going to retire or I'm going to leave, and I'm getting $7 million for it.
I don't think it's I'm going to retire and I'm getting $7 million for it. It's I don't want to retire. Will you take $7 million to do it?
I see.
Sure,
I
will.
See. The Red Sox trade pitcher Connolly Early to the Nationals for Curtis Mead. That was really the kickoff of the MLB trade deadline, I guess, this weekend. Not a traditional trade. Connolly Early is under team control till 2032. The young 25-year-old pitcher has been promising for the Red Sox, and Curtis Mead is having a breakout season this year, also 25 years old for the Nationals, but risky trade for the Red Sox, no doubt.
I joked on Twitter that I'm the reason the Red Sox, aren't on fire anymore.
Yeah, you got to see Dylan Cease have the best pitching performance of the year.
Yeah, I went to Boston as a spy for the Detroit Tigers. I infiltrated their walls. I got in and made sure I put out the fire that was the Boston Red Sox. They lost, and then they made a stupid trade. And not only that, but their team got one hit in a complete game from Dylan Cease, in, like you said, was maybe the best performance of the year.
120 pitches.
Yeah.
A.J. Hinch was vomiting watching that.
I couldn't believe he rolled back out there for the ninth inning. And he gave up a home run that ended up getting called back because it was just foul. It was initially called a home run.
One hit, complete game shutout, 12 Ks, 120 pitches. Unbelievable.
It was like a 2.5-hour game. It was crazy. We were worried about catching the train back. We didn't have to worry about that by the time the fifth inning rolled around.
Last thing in the news, Tigers-Orioles kick off a series this week. Kiter Montero on the mound for Detroit. 6:40 first pitch.
All right, there we go. We'll have our three traditions to close out every show when we come back. This is the Ben Bosscher Show live on 100.9 The Mitt. Hey, A&W, they're celebrating National Root Beer Float Day this week while giving back to those who have served in our country. Now through August 6th, stop by A&W and purchase a limited edition 2026 collector's mug for just $10 with a 100% of the proceeds benefiting disabled American veterans. These donations help provide critical support for veterans and their families, including transportation, emergency relief, and more. That is now through August 6th at A&W here in Midland.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100. Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
You know, before we get to our three traditions, this was like 30 seconds away from making news. Are you seeing this ESPN headline with Eric Bieniemy?
This came out earlier, and I was going to put it in the news, and then I just didn't.
This is dark stuff.
That's why I didn't put it in there, yeah.
Eric Bieniemy's son, Elijah, apparently shot his mother. That's crazy. You don't typically be seeing those headlines.
Is he back with the Chiefs?
For now.
Well, but he rejoined the Chiefs staff this offseason, though, right? Is
correct.
What I'm saying? Yeah.
I don't know. If I'm Eric Bieniemy, I might need some time off after that. Time to recoup.
So.
All right, let's get to our three traditions to close out every show. The first of which is our lock of the day.
Lock of the day.
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up.
What did you do while lock of the day was away? When I was gone? How did you do on lock of the day?
I went 1-1. I did a Tigers bet that lost, and I did a Tigers bet that won. Kyler Montero's strikeouts is what got me. So I went 1-1 while I was gone, but it doesn't count towards yours. I have an own separate section there. I don't want to screw you over. But last week...
Did you go positive units or no?
No, I went down because it was minus 110. So I went minus 0.1 in the 2 days. So, as far as Ben's stats go, to update you, he's at his all-time worst for 2026. It's been really bad. He's lost 6 in a row.
Thank you.
But he went on sabbatical and regathered his thoughts, and he's going to go on a run. Minus 18.47 units down all time, 5.2 units down in July, and you've got this entire week to make it up because Friday is the 31st.
Say that one more time, how many units I'm down in July?
5.2. So you're going to need a plus bet in here at some point, even if you hit everything.
Yeah, well, I'm starting off with a safe one. Gleyber Torres, I'm going 2 hits plus runs plus RBI tonight at minus 115. He's 4 for 8 versus Baltimore's starting pitcher tonight. So 500 batting average and 8 career at-bats against him. He's had some luck. I'll continue to ride that out, and hopefully he gets either 2 hits, hit on a run, hit in an RBI, some combination of that. Again, it's Gleyber Torres, 2 hits plus runs plus RBI at minus 115. Your thoughts?
I like it. Let's get some good mojo going to kick off this week. I'll tail it.
Okay, there we go. That is our lock of the day.
Lock of the day.
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. You lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it
Hey,
up.
before we do the next tradition, can I just say something about betting that pertains to lock of the day? Did you see all this stuff with Pat McAfee and Shams Charania about what went down with the LeBron stuff?
No.
Shams told Pat McAfee yo, you should have me on the show today. I got some big basketball news. You're gonna want to have me on the show the day that LeBron signed with Philly. And then the whole time Pat McAfee's talking about, yeah, I put a bet on LeBron to go to Philly. I bet on LeBron to go to Philly because it just jumped in odds, and I basically got some information saying LeBron's gonna go to Philly.
That sounds like insider
just
trading.
Openly talking about illegal activity. I just think that's
we should put Pat McAfee in jail.
Scum activity. Well, we can't put him in jail because he's about to be on ESPN for 12 hours a day with everyone that they laid off. That's all I had to say.
I'm glad you said it. All right, next tradition, game of the day.
Game of the day.
We are in the territory now where it's getting so exciting in the WNBA that might need to start being in play anytime Caitlin Clark
just had the
plays.
All-Star game.
The animosity between Caitlin Clark, that's not a news story, but it's seemingly getting worse before it's getting better, which is insane because it already was bad. The commissioner of the league, pretty much every team and every media member has collectively agreed that she sucks. So that's becoming interesting too. But they're still on the All-Star break, so it's still got to be a baseball game. Today, do we have any nationally televised games today?
Baseball-wise, you're saying?
Yeah. No, it does not look like it. All right, well, then that would make me go, you know what, let's go. No, the Mets suck. Mets always suck. Let's go Yankees, White Sox. Sure. Yeah. Yankees, White Sox. That's our game of the day.
Game of the day.
I got 2 words for you. Steve Nash and Chris Paul. Must-see TV.
All right, last tradition we have. Guessing what Colin Cowherd opens with. Has he led with the Odyssey yet?
It was J-Mac all week last week.
Oh, that makes it a little harder to predict.
Yeah, it does.
Whose turn is it to go first?
It is my turn to go first.
Damn it.
67-65 is the score. One of us might have got a point last Monday, but I don't care to go back and look. So who cares? We're going to go 67-65.
Just give yourself a point already today, then.
LeBron! Even though, we got led with a little bit on Friday, but LeBron!
I have no guess. I have no second guess.
Pick something.
The Odyssey.
Jackson Koiven, 21 years old, won on the PGA Tour.
Now, I'll pick the Odyssey.
The Odyssey.
I think that's...
you couldn't
he's
pick
not gonna talk
another
about anything
another
other than
NBA
LeBron.
topic? The Warriors
no, he's not
the
going to talk
Warriors
about
missing
anything
out.
but LeBron.
Tarek Skubal, trade deadline week?
No. You got a point. Just give yourself a point already.
Okay, dude.
Trying to reverse jinx it to where maybe neither of us can get a point. That's it. All right. This is the Ben Bosscher Show. We'll be back tomorrow. Thanks, Kyle. Thanks for everybody else. See you guys later.
The Ben Bosscher